All right, everybody, welcome out to the Logroom Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, February the 6th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai eating his dinner. How are you, Mr. Beer Samurai?
Finishing my dinner.
Finishing your dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And you're using, what are you using to eat with?
2 sticks.
2 sticks. And they're called?
Chopsticks. Now, I heard one comedian say, all the devices on the planet, the 2 sticks went out for eating rice. Seriously.
There you go.
But, my grandmother's half Chinese, so she taught us how to use chopsticks at a very early age.
There you go.
I was using when I was 5.
So why using chopsticks today, though?
Because I made stir fry.
I lead you in, throw you the beach ball, and you talk.
I whiffed. No, it's National Chopstick Day.
Happy National Chopsticks Day. I just happened to bring my, my metal
knitting needles.
Knitting needles, yeah.
They look like knitting needles.
No, they're chopsticks.
Oh, okay. I actually have chopsticks that are lightsabers.
There you go.
They light up. You want to guess where they are?
In a box in storage.
They're in a box in storage. Yeah.
Okay. In the interest of full disclosure, Jess heard me say you and I talking earlier about that is National Chopsticks Day, and before we started the show, my door opened and she handed me the chopsticks. So.
Does she want a producer job?
She wants a producer job, apparently. Anyway, and as far as the other day goes, it's actually apropos that our intro music has the word syrup in it.
Yeah, and if you've watched the show, you know that John's favorite adjunct in beer is what?
That would be maple.
Maple
syrup,
specifically, and the best maple syrup comes from
Canada, of course.
Canada.
Of course, when I'm in Vermont, I don't say that.
No, don't say that in Vermont. Unless you're at the very northern
part. Yeah.
They won't understand you anyway because they don't.
The very northern part is Canada, so
pretty much, yeah,
exactly. So, anyway, it's Canadian Maple Syrup Day. So happy Canadian Maple Syrup Day. So there you go. All right.
And for those of you who use the maple flavored high fructose corn syrup. Yeah. We can't be friends.
No. That's not maple syrup. That's pancake syrup. That's pancake syrup.
Different now.
In a pinch, it doesn't even work. But it's too thick. It's too thick.
It's diabetes in a bottle.
Yeah, you don't want that. But in any event, I digress.
And
I'm a little thirsty.
Yeah, because there's a lot of soy sauce in this, so it's
salty, and you want something to drink. So.
I need something crisp to drink after this.
I agree.
Good, and I want it from a damn good brewery.
I think we should bring on a damn good brewery. We have one on the show tonight, so let's bring them on, shall we?
Yeah. Do it.
All right, please welcome to the show Morgan and Dylan from Buttonwoods Brewing in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Excuse me, they're reversed now on this.
Oh, no, they're reversed. I can move them. There we go.
Yeah, I have.
We know who.
There we go. Hold on. Let me switch them up here. There.
That's better. That's
better. All right.
Yeah.
Morgan Snyder and Dylan Bruns. Morgan's the founder and co-owner of Buttonwoods, and Dylan is the brewer, and they're both on our show, gracing us with their presence tonight. How are you guys doing?
Excellent. How are you guys?
We are doing just great.
Excellent. As you can tell, I'm a fan.
I saw that. I like the shirt.
Yeah. No,
he might have visited the brewery more often since he lived in Rhode Island for a year, but I was there more recently than him.
Yes, this is absolutely true. I was there when you came.
Black. Sorry, that shirt is vintage. I don't think we've had a black shirt in like 2 years.
This is a pre-COVID shirt. I know that one.
That's vintage. Pre-COVID's vintage.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, and
Buttonwood shirt.
And I remember when I visited, you came in on the street. You had to come up those little stairs through the door and then make the right in. And when you came in, you got greeted by a dog. I forget the dog's name. Still,
where is he?
There's a dog.
He just turned 15.
That is funny because I said to John, like, I'm almost hesitant to bring it up because the dog looked a little old back then. What's the dog's name again?
15. This is Ollie.
Ollie, that's right.
Ollie's
So
15.
when you visit the brewery, Ollie would greet you at the door, ask how many in your party, take you to your table.
There you go.
Put out the coasters. So is Ollie retired?
Oh yeah. He doesn't like me picking him up in the first place. He's like, all right, put me down already.
It's like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm comfortable down there.
I'm 15 years old. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It's 105 in dog years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good. That was cool to see Ollie.
That's awesome.
That's a blast from the past for me.
Cool. Hey, before we get into any other conversations, let's pour some beer. I'm thirsty. Guys, Morgan, Dylan, what are you guys drinking right now while we pour?
I've got a good idea what Dylan's drinking there.
Oh, I needed a little pick-me-up, so I grabbed our coffee stout, the Sagittarius Moon.
I figured I'd stay on brand. I got a brand new, we just packaged this week, Royal Pony Boy. It's our kind of Miller High Life nod.
Royal. There you go.
I get it because it's got to stay golden.
Stay gold, Pony Boy.
Well, John and I are drinking the same thing.
Yes, we are.
If I can get it out of the glare, you can see the Vespa on there. This is such a cool label. I love the label. This is your Italian Pils. Do love this style. That's a pretty beer.
Look at the head on that thing. Let's go.
Pretty beer.
There you go.
Yeah, it's got a little mound on the top, bubbles in there.
Yeah.
Now, did you which of the Italian Pils did you model it after any of the Italian Pilsners?
Yeah, so that one is a fun one. So that was a COVID recipe. The intent was to kind of replicate Lupolo, but it was like so early on into COVID that when we rebrewed the recipe, I looked it up. I was like, what were you thinking in the moment? The hop regime is a little chaotic. But yeah, the intent was to try and get as close to Lupolo based on what we had on hand. It's dry hop with a pretty nice even amount of Hallertau Mittelfrüh, but it's also got Saaz, Tettnang, Hallertau, and I believe this batch did Eldorado for bittering.
Wow. I remember the first batch. I remember coming up to the back dock to pick up the order. Right, and then the back dock became the entrance.
Yeah. So that was like it was one of the early ons. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how everything was going to change. So it was like, we've been talking about an Italian Pils for months now. At this point, let's just throw this in the tank. And if it sits there for six months, great. If we put it out in 6 weeks, also great. So that's how this beer kind of came about.
Yes,
that's awesome. Well, it's
excellent beer.
It is fantastic, and I'm drinking it out of proper glassware. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome. Yep. That is very tasty.
Yes. Salute.
Yes. Salute.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Yeah. All right. So let's kick it off with the normal first question we ask everybody. We'll start with Morgan. What is your to the best of your recollection, what's the first craft beer you ever had?
So I guess technically the answer to that would be Yingling. But I wouldn't. Yeah, it was. My dad used to drink it all the time. I was probably 14. So that's kind of set me on that path. We used to grew up in Virginia, so Yingling was being so close to Pennsylvania. It's very easy to get. They're technically not craft anymore, but they were definitely craft at the time. They hadn't since sold to, Sapporo that they sold to, whoever they sold to. But yeah, that was the craft beer that kind of set the path. And I was like, oh yeah, I can drink other things than Budweiser. And then as an adult, legal drinking age, it would have been Flying Dog.
Okay.
Yep.
Raging Bitch.
I remember that.
Raging Bitch
was a crazy one.
Oh yeah.
That was a fun name. 21-year-old me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 21-year-old me thought it was really funny to drink a beer called Raging Bitch.
Of course.
I just liked it because we'll call it 21. Hunter S. Thompson was like who you wanted to be. So having the Stedman art was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Stedman print on glass at my desk at work, actually.
That's
and
awesome.
it's a self-portrait with the quote from Hunter S. Thompson on it. Stop drawing, Ralph. It's a nasty habit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It
awesome.
is so cool. I work in a department that's all artists, and they had this thing, and they put it out because they were going to throw it away. I'm like, you aren't. Give me that. Give me that. That's going on my desk.
Yeah, really.
Who would throw that away?
People who don't know who Ralph Steadman is.
Yeah, that's true. Which is like most people, I'm guessing.
Because if you don't know who Ralph Steadman is, you take a look at that. It's a little, it's a little weird. He's got like a camera lens for one eye. The other eye's kind of like half hanging out, and it's a really neat thing that he did there, and all the little splashes of color on there. So, yeah, I get the whole, wow, Ralph Steadman's on a beer can. I'm drinking this kind of vibe.
For sure.
And Raging Bitch had one of the cooler labels.
Yeah.
He went a little risque on that one.
A little risque on that one, yeah, I'd say. Well, I mean,
definitely a little awkward with the post-pregnancy dog.
Exactly.
Yeah. the double Total Recall hooker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, exactly. All right, Dylan, what was yours?
Well, let's see. Actually, So I actually grew up going to school with Eli Forsley, who's Fred Forsley, owner of Shipyard's son. So we had a lot of Shipyard in the house. And I'm pretty sure it was the Monkey Fist would be the first one that I got my hands on.
Fair enough.
That was the first one. That was also because, like, growing up in Maine, like, I feel like we got into the craft thing like pretty early with Allagash and all that. So it was a little bit like, what's this weird bitter shit in my dad's fridge, and kind of forcing yourself to like it on that for a while.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be true. Yeah, growing up in Maine, I mean, there's, obviously depending on when you grew up in Maine, there was plenty of stuff available to you. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, I'm 29, so there was definitely we were already kind of getting into it by the time I was allowed.
Where in Maine did you live?
I grew up just outside of Portland in Cape Elizabeth.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh yeah. Cape Elizabeth,
yeah.
Very nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like everyone knows it's the Portland headlight, the great big lighthouse, and everyone thinks it's in Portland, but it's actually a couple towns over.
It is.
So that's what we were known for, was having the lighthouse in the state park there.
There you go.
Yeah, and there's a lighthouse just south of there, which is a private residence.
It is.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but you can't get anywhere near the thing.
Dave and I invaded Portland a few years ago. Yeah, there's photographic proof too. Here you go.
Yeah, there
you go.
There's more than that.
I mean,
that's to go there.
That's a good album cover. When's the album drop?
When's the album drops? The album drops. Well, it was going to drop in April, but Taylor Swift just said the other night at the Grammys that she's dropping an album in April. So we're waiting till June now.
Yeah, we're gonna wait. Yeah, it's kind of like a folk country punk fusion.
Exactly, with a little bit of acid jazz mixed in. So
sure.
There you go.
Only 2 tracks.
Only 2 tracks. That's it. It's a single. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and we've mastered auto tune to the point we sound like the Chipmunks on it. It's great.
There you go. Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to sell really well.
It's going to sell dozens of copies.
Dozens.
Auto tune's just helium, right?
Exactly. So quick
with auto tune, you don't need helium.
No, you know. Quick little story for the two of you. We mentioned it once or twice on a show a while ago, but when we were up in Portland, last when we were there was August of 2021. So everything's just coming out of COVID, right? And we go to Navarre Res.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so we're sitting in Navarre Res. And David, was your first time in Navarre Res, right?
That's my first time in Navarre.
It was your first time in Navarre Res, right? So we go in, we're looking at the menu, and they were out of, the bottle list they have at Navarre Res, right? It's so ridiculously good. they were out of a lot of stuff because they weren't getting steady deliveries from what like they would normally get during COVID. So they were out of a lot of bottles. Dave's asking the server, all of this, no, we're out of it. All of this, no, we're out of it. All of this, no, we're out of it. And it was a lot of it was what I was going to order too. I said, forget it. I'm just going with my staple. They had your Reach Stickel Alt bottle. So I'm like, I'll have one of those. So he asked for a couple others. She delivers mine. She says, we're out of those. He says, you know what? Screw it. I'll have one of those too. She goes, that was the last one.
I've got to get back.
You got to go back. Yeah, you got to actually experience it when they have the bottle.
You got to go.
When they have beer.
You got to go for Orval Day. That's the day to be there if you're going to go for a single.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love Orval.
The Orval Day is immaculate at Navarre. I love that spot.
So, yeah, got to get back up there. Definitely got to get back there soon.
Erase that PTSD.
Exactly. Another quick question, really quick. What was do you remember the first craft brewery you ever went to, or brewery? Period. For that
Man.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been one in, was it Shipyard for you, Dylan, or?
No, I don't think so.
Or
Geary's. I don't know what you would even count. Like, I don't know. I guess Gritty's probably. Gritty McDuff would probably be the first one.
I'd count Gritty's.
Gritty's,
yeah.
Gritty's
probably be the first one.
Gritty's works.
That's a cool place to sit and drink too.
Oh yeah.
And people watch.
It's it's out of time and just like forever, exactly the way it's always been, and I kind of like that vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Morgan.
This is like a deep cut Virginia one, but it's Legends Brewing Company in Richmond.
I know.
I don't think.
Legends, wow.
There we go. All right, Legends Brown. It's a local legend.
Legend Brown's a damn good beer.
It's absolutely delightful until you realize there's special B in there, which a friend of mine pointed out. I hate raisins, side note. So once I caught that onto that one, it kind of ruined that beer for me.
Ruined the beer for you.
The brewery is amazing. All I could taste was raisins after that. But I went to school down in Virginia, and I was working in a restaurant, and we got to do a private tour back there, and that was probably the first brewery I ever stepped foot in.
Nice. That's cool.
That's
cool. So I guess you're not a fan of Dogfish Head's Raisin the Extra.
Weirdly enough, I
am. On my 25th birthday, I had a 25-year-old Raisin the Extra.
Wow.
No, not 25. Shoot.
No, it was
the same year I graduated high school.
So
if anyone wants to do that math, that's what it was.
We do have a rule in the
show. It was 8 years.
Yeah, we forgot to tell you, you're allowed to curse as much as you want, but no math.
No math on the show. No math on the show.
Those are good rules. I like those rules.
Yeah. We don't allow
screwed.
math.
I math
we
all
don't.
the time.
We only the only time we do math on the show is March 12th.
Yeah.
I see.
Pi Day.
Yeah.
It's March.
I was with you. I was with you.
And the thing is, he's already wrong because it's March 14th.
March 14th. No, it's March 12th. No, because
that was the pause. It was like
today.
I know where he's getting at. But...
This year it's March 12th. That's
this year it's March 12th. That's right.
This
like
March 12th
kind of thing.
We're doing right because it's leap
year. John, for the sake of the show, just moved Pi Day, and now the
we're not going to be on the air on Pi Day, so we're doing it when we are.
The diameter divided by the radius squared now is 3.12.
We have a show on March 12th. Pi Day's March 14th. Last year we had a show on Pi Day, so we did, but because of leap year, it's March 12th. So that's why I said March 12th. You pain in the neck.
And neither of us.
I'm sure there's a 3-1-2 somewhere in.
I'm sure there's somewhere in Pi. There's got to be a 3-1-2
in that sequence. There has to be the 2,357th number
somewhere in there. I actually have. I think I still have it in here.
Because we ran the crawl.
Here's the crawl. This is the crawl for Pi Day.
Yeah. See if we can get a 3-1-2.
There's a 2-1-4 there, and
there's 1-3-2. We got 1-3. Let's stick it works.
There you go.
3-1-7. Got that.
7.
This is
3-8-5.
We're gonna go cross.
3-0-3. 3-8-1.
You're giving me too much to do right now.
We're overstimulating Morgan.
Great.
Exactly.
We could
The
only.
show's over. We can just watch this.
I know
all
you
the
just.
time.
There you go. Right, I'll put it on.
This is about as scintillating as the Yule log.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
That's my favorite thing.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. I like.
You gotta love it.
Not having to think.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk about Buttonwoods. Let's talk about you guys. Morgan, when did you first start brewing, Morgan? Obviously, it was before you opened Buttonwoods, so let's start there.
Yes. So, I mean, I've heard of people who open breweries without brewing before, but yeah.
Oh, so have I. So
that
have
was
I.
that wasn't us.
No.
God, when was that? That must have been early 2012.
Okay.
I just graduated college. We moved into I was waiting tables at the restaurant I referenced about earlier. And yeah, my buddy and I just moved into an apartment close to that restaurant, and I got a homebrew kit. I read the Charlie Papazian's Joy of Homebrewing, and I decided I was going to brew a Pilsner without any refrigeration. It was great. It was 10% alcohol, assuming my math was correct. So I'm going to say it probably wasn't correct, but it still got you really drunk. It was a honey Pilsner.
Honey Imperial Pilsner. So there you go.
Yeah, that'll do it.
There you go. That works.
Be a 5%er, and it was 10 because I threw in like 3 pounds of honey on a 5-gallon batch when it should have been like 3 ounces of honey.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah,
It had to be tasty though.
So you pretty much made a braggot.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Braggot
I've always talked about rebrewing that recipe, and weirdly enough, our Pilsner recipe isn't too far off from that original recipe. Yeah, a lot less honey. By a lot less, I mean like there's no honey in our Pilsner.
That is a lot less.
That's a lot. That's about as much less as you can get. So, that's great. All right, so 2012. So when between 20, you guys opened in 2017.
2017,
right? So between those, when during the course of that 5 years did you say to yourself, "Hey, I'm opening a brewery"?
2012. Probably after
the third sip of the first pour of that Pilsner, right?
No, it was my third batch, but I brewed 3 batches that month. Yeah, and it was immediately. I was like, I'm opening a brewery. We're gonna do this, and there's that level of commitment is just. I'm still astounded. I'm still sticking to that path.
There you go. What brought you up to Rhode Island?
Weirdly enough, my parents bought a house in Rhode Island in the Buttonwoods neighborhood. For those of you who don't know, Buttonwoods is a neighborhood in Warwick, which is 2 cities south of where we will be, but 1 city south of where we are currently.
More on that later.
Bought a house. Yeah. So they just like no reason, no explanation. My parents just one day said, "We're gonna buy a retirement house in Rhode Island," and my siblings and I were like, "Where?" So it was a total left field thing. We spent in my life. I'd spent 4 hours in Providence total. So they just randomly bought a house, and that's kind of what spawned us moving to Rhode Island and starting a brewery up here, because there was 6 breweries at the time they moved here. Mm-hmm. So it was just like a great wide open space, great state. I mean, never been. I highly recommend it. It's a weird place, but really good.
It is a weird place. I love it.
It's great. It's a great place.
Yeah. It is definitely weird, but it's like that charming weird. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they moved up here. They decided they wanted a retirement house on the water, and growing up in Virginia, they didn't want to go south of Virginia. Maryland's off the table. They looked at New Jersey and they wanted to, but New Jersey is apparently a lot more expensive. New York, obviously, is just New York, and prices are not really ever going to be reasonable ever again.
Depends on where in New York you go. I mean, you could go like far up or west, far north or west in New York, and it's a little cheaper than, closer to the city.
That's not oceanfront.
Well, no, not at all.
Yeah, they want an oceanfront, and
Sure,
so yeah, you're not getting that in New York.
Oceanfront, New York.
Connecticut.
Oceanfront, New York is Staten Island or Long Island. So,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Long Island's nice enough. Staten Island is, well, you know.
And Staten Island isn't really. I mean, it's oceanfront. It's kind of bayfront, really. Not really.
We
Not
live
even
in
a half
Jersey.
hour into the show, and we're already throwing shade at Staten Island.
No.
We're
Never
we
hear
live
this
in
podcast.
we live in Jersey, and in Jersey, it is one of our favorite sports is to make fun of Staten Island.
Yeah, well, we have friends that live in Jersey that were originally from Staten Island that throw shade at Staten Island.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
But they still love it. It's still home, So
Yeah.
It's never going to take the L. They always think they're on the up and up, no matter how much you make fun of them for it.
Exactly.
This is true, despite the fact that they live on a landfill.
There you go. All right, more shade. Anyway,
more shade. I'm full of shade.
I didn't need to say it. We all knew it already.
Anyway, all right, let's jump over to Dylan really quick. Dylan, when did you start brewing?
Honestly, way less time ago than it feels like. I didn't get involved until COVID happened because I was kind of going through the restaurant bar career path for a long time, and kind of always gravitating around beer stuff. And then when COVID hit and I got laid off, I'd kind of been thinking about trying something else. And then I got into a certificate program for what they called a process technician, which was kind of just a glorified way of training you for like how to work in a manufacturing facility and warehousing and things like that, which led me to getting a job at the Isle Brewers Guild in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Nice.
And that was what, September 2020. I started in their cellar over there, and they put me on the night shift, just cleaning tanks right off the rip. And I think I spent 2 days in there and immediately went like, I need to get as good at this as humanly possible, as fast as possible, so I can be here in the day when things are actually happening. And just kind of, I don't know. I luckily had like some really good people there that saw I had the spark and the fire for it, and just asking questions, hitting the books, just getting my hands on everything I could there really kind of, I don't know, just sucked me in all the way, and I've just loved it. Picked up homebrewing a little bit after that. I think I'm maybe a little weird that I waited until after I had done a batch on a 100 barrel contract system to decide to do a 5-gallon. But
that's what I mean. That I'm equating that to like, you ever drive really fast? Like like a story like I opened it up on a country highway 40 years ago. I'm in New York, upstate New York, going to Utica, and there was like, I could see 10 miles in front of me, and there's nothing but farmland on either side with nothing coming out. I could just see everything. So I said, screw it. I opened it up. I'm going 120 miles an hour. Yeah. And I'm flying. All of a sudden I see city limits in 1 mile, speed limit 25 miles an hour. So I had to slow it down to 25 miles. You know, it's like to drive 120 and then have to slow down to 25. I'm equating that to what you just did. So you brewed 100 barrels, and then you went to a 5-gallon batch.
It was a little bit of that. I didn't even really mean to. I just had some buddies that like had started homebrewing, and they were doing a terrible job of it. And they wanted a couple pointers, and the next thing I knew, I was just there almost every Sunday doing it with them. So
there you go.
Now you worked at the Guild.
Yeah.
You say? Did they let you touch the night shift beer?
Yeah.
Because one of John's favorite breweries on the planet is Night Shift.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was at the Guild, I loved going to the Guild for their beer, but mostly Night Shift.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was honestly, now that I've been kind of on that like big batch contract side, and then now working smaller batch, like craft kind of more creatively in ways, I'm really glad that I started doing it that way with like other people's recipes and very like structured. It's either correct or it's incorrect, and you have so much more kind of I don't know, like stakes, I guess, when you're at that scale, like get good, don't mess up, or because I'm going to raise my hand and say, I threw the non-organic hops in an organic beer one time, and that was a no-go. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Whoops.
I think I might hold the record for the most new.
And that was a 100-barrel batch?
Place. Oh, there was 300 barrels in the tank. Oh yeah. Thank God. Thank God for
his
the
boss
empathy
told
and
me.
patience. Yeah. Thankfully, there was some empathy and patience with that one, because that beer did not make it to market. I'll tell you that much.
I was gonna ask if they just rename it and.
No, the organic. Well, we did take a little bit and then spin it off and do some stuff, but 10 barrels out of a 300 barrel, it doesn't really put too much of a dent.
No, not so much. No.
In the loss, yeah.
Oh,
wow, that's a lot of grains and hops.
Oh yeah. If there's not too many mistakes in the brewery I haven't made, and the ones that are left, I just am never going. I'm gonna hopefully never do. Knock on wood, and
please knock on it.
Yeah, I got a barrel right here in front of me, so we'll just knock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're on the my old office barrel.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Knock on it. Yeah, there you go.
It's like, I don't make too many mistakes, but when I do, they are epic.
I gotta say though, because all of the guilds, all the night shift beer at the guild, that's all the distro beer, obviously, right? That's getting out of states and stuff like that. I don't know that I've actually had any night shift beer that was brewed at the guild, because most of I don't think I've bought. I go up to Boston a lot. I get to Rhode Island often enough, but I get to Boston a lot.
Yeah.
And I go up to night shift every time I go, and I'm bringing home whatever I bring home. And I don't think I've bought anything. I don't think I've had any night shift in like distro. Like I haven't bought any night shift in Jersey. There's night shift in Jersey, obviously, and that's the distro beer that's being brewed at the guild or whatever. But I don't think I've had any guild brewed night shift beer. It's odd. It's funny to think about.
The guild and drank it, so I have.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. All right, Dylan, you started with. All right, so hold that thought. Morgan, you opened in 2017. So how long did it take you to get open? Once you found a space in Cranston, what was the process there?
That was 15 months.
Okay.
All
right.
And that was
only 15 months.
And only 15 months, and it's so funny.
I'm coming up on 3 years, and we're not open yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 15 months after post lease sign. I don't know if you signed a lease yet, but
no. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So 15 months after the lease sign, and there. I don't know if you've seen. I forget who published this, but someone recently said that Rhode Island is the 50th best state to do business in, and
we're up from.
Months.
Oh, never mind.
51st.
No. We are up. We did beat Puerto Rico this year. So we're up.
Not a state, but okay. Well, you got to.
Yeah, I was going to say
not. Yeah, but we'd still probably, if those rankings included Puerto Rico, we'd be 51. But no, it was a real challenge, because so strangely enough, we were the second brewery in Cranston, and when we went to the city and said we were opening a brewery, and they're like, okay, I don't know how to what kind of zoning do you need? I'm like, I think that's your job. Why should I? I don't know.
Wasn't Revival open by then when you went to them?
Oh, it sure was. It had been open for about 4 years at that point.
So shouldn't they have known what zoning you needed?
I think they just kind of overlooked it. I don't really have a great explanation for why they didn't know what to do there, but as soon as we opened up, all of a sudden it triggered a lot of things. Revival all of a sudden had to do a lot of retroactive stuff. So it was a real fun trip. The city of Cranston said, no, you can't open up because it's a change of use. You're not an industrial space. And I'm like, no, we are. And it's like, yeah, but you have a retail space. It's like, well, the law says we're allowed to have that. It's like, so you're a mixed use. It's like, nope, we're still an industrial space.
It's still industrial.
Yeah, so it was an 8-month battle of, well, it says tasting room here. It's like, well, I don't know. What do you want me to call it? I don't know. What is it? So after 8 months, we changed tasting room to sampling area. So we got our building permit.
Nice.
So it was a wild ride doing that. But yeah, I mean, so it was a real headache for sure. And we've learned a lot from that, and thankfully we're taking that and moving forward and making better decisions off that. It's kind of working within the parameters you have to operate within.
Right.
And so
yeah, sense.
So a lot of that was just trying to figure out how to navigate the bureaucracy channels and be like, all right, well, you want this, so let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's put it this way: we'll after the show's done, I'll tell you some interesting things about New Jersey, so it makes you feel better a little bit more better about Rhode Island. So.
Yeah, congrats on getting that law passed.
Yeah, family in Jersey.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, you heard.
I know. I was telling Dylan about
one.
a few things up there back in the beginning of January when we were up there, but
yeah,
that's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Hopefully more to come, but that's huge.
Oh, the first
it was
the first time I went to a New Jersey brewery was Carton. And I walked in the door.
We've been there a few times.
Just don't say his first name 3 times. Don't do that.
Don't say the owner's name.
So I walked up to the tap room. It was like, "Did you take the tour yet?" I'm like, "No." It's like you have to take the tour.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the tour with I'd gone to Kane earlier, and they didn't make me do that because it was like their anniversary or whatever reason.
They're probably handing out
Kane.
Had it on the wall, and
Kane had it on the wall, and they handed you a card or whatever that had the tour on it, because that was a workaround. You could actually hand, yeah.
Well, that's smart. But yeah, so I went to Carton, and they made me do the tour, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like, it's law. I'm like,
it's law.
All right,
that's gone now. That's gone now. That's gone.
Thank God.
So, yeah. So
it's interesting because when the day that got passed, we actually our guest, it was on a Tuesday that it got passed.
Yep.
And our guest for that night got sick, wasn't from Jersey, and couldn't make the show. And one of our friends who owns a brewery in New Jersey was watching the show. He was celebrating. Chuck was about 18 beers in at the time.
At least 18 beers.
At least 18 beers at the time.
Celebrating from the time that it was signed. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So he said, "Hey, let me jump in on the show." So
he jumped in on the show, but he made it clear that he was only jumping in audio only because he was indeed 18 beers in. So.
He was the New Jersey Craft Beer Society, the group, everybody, all of us the drinkers, the owners, everyone was celebrating that day.
Yeah, it was a great day. It was a great day. We're now you know what? We've talked about it on the show. I'll fill you guys in later.
Yeah, that's a Jersey thing. We're talking about Buttonwoods.
We're talking about Buttonwoods. So I'll tell you after the show. But in any event, okay. So that's great. So you opened in 2017. What are you still brewing now that you brewed in 2017? What are your core beers, your flagships that you still have now that you were brewing back then, like when you first opened? I'm assuming obviously the Pilsner recipe, obviously.
Yeah. So I was gonna say the seventh beer we ever brewed was our Pilsner. So that's the longest running beer. For the longest time, it was the most brewed beer we ever did. Then we brewed Object Permanence, which is our flagship IPA. Mm-hmm. I have a can right here.
Oh, guess what? John's got one as well.
Oh, you have a can?
Ironically, so do I.
Ironic.
You thought
beautiful,
I let him
beautiful.
leave the brewery without giving him that? Are you kidding?
I'm good. Kudos for you. I'm notoriously bad at not giving anyone in the industry any IPAs from us. Super. I love our IPAs.
It's a shame because that's a great beer.
Oh yeah. So I'll have that next. Actually,
yeah.
On that note, Dave and I are actually both drinking the Schwartz beer right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So there you
That one.
And I have it. I
Oh,
actually,
I came
I was gonna
prepared.
say I had that one lined up next.
I actually put it in this glass. So there you go.
There you go.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Did either of you have any of the coffee porter I gave you?
We both did.
I
enjoyed
did,
it
yeah.
thoroughly.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
Who'd you get the coffee? Yeah, well, we can talk about this later.
We'll
I'll
talk about
ask
it.
you more about that. I know. I went into like auto question mode. Then I'm being interviewed. So object permits.
Hey, you should have a
is our
podcast.
number one.
Yeah. That's good.
So object is our number one brewed beer. It's our IPA. It's 100% Citra hops. Just a nice rendition of a New England IPA. Big fan. I love Citra. I jokingly said before we opened up that if I just ran a brewery with all Citra hops, I'd be happy. And here I am running a brewery with an all Citra hop IPA. So you guessed it, I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
You look happy.
So try to be. So I think that's like kind of the most commonly brewed. Those two are the most commonly brewed. We kind of don't really stick to a lot of parameters outside of that. We're introducing some mainstays. Dylan was drinking the coffee stout that we do with the local coffee roastery called the Borealis Sagittarius Moon.
I have a can of that downstairs in the fridge. So.
Oh, I love Borealis.
Yeah,
they're on the bike.
I think 4 beers on the
they
show
are.
on Tuesday night was a good idea, but.
I
will be happy
that one a lot. Then probably outside of that, we probably brew Hip Hop Is Dead, which is our double IPA.
Yep.
That's 8.8%. I've jokingly called that our quintessential IPA because I just like it's a really good beer. I just don't know really how to categorize it and how to like put it where to put it. So it's a blend of 5 different hops, mostly old school, like Dylan might remember, but it's Bravo, Citra, Eldorado, and I'm missing something in there. But we've changed it a couple times here and there, but for the most part, it's just like a lot of old school stuff, and we brew that probably the most out of everything else that we've said. Second most, least most of all the other things I've said, but more common than everything else.
There you go.
If that makes sense.
That's awesome.
It did. I did. I'm a
Yeah,
We got there.
Right, there you go. We got 2 comments on here I want to throw up really quick. John Mecca Macori. Good evening, watching from Kenya. There you go.
Oh, hey, cheers to Kenya.
Cheers to Kenya.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers to Kenya.
And Brian Boak, good friend of ours. I'm drinking an earlier version of Wooden Beanie. When he says an earlier version of Wooden Beanie, that could be anywhere from last year. Well, actually, no, I think he's not done it for a while. Up through probably 14 years ago. So
Brian's one of the OGs in the.
He's an OG in New Jersey. Yeah. So his Wooden Beanie is a Belgian double, aged in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans.
Oh yeah, well, that's vanilla Wooden Beanie.
That's what? No, it's Wooden Beanie.
I thought there was a vanilla Wooden Beanie.
No. There's
straight up. Okay.
There's Blunderbore, which is his that's his 10% Russian Imperial Stout aged in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans.
Now, what I want to know is, you got the guy from Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Family moves up to Rhode Island. He owns a brewery. Then you got the guy who grew up just south of Portland, Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Comes down to why'd you come down to Rhode Island,
Dylan? Man, I really thought I was going to have a better answer for this, but I guess I don't have anything better going on. I don't know.
Nothing better.
Why did you leave Maine?
Why the hell would you leave Portland?
I know, it was kind of wild. As soon as I got down here, and then a lot of cool stuff started happening up there, and I was like, what was I thinking? But one of my best friends is from Jamestown, and and at the time I had been moving around a bit. I went out west a couple times and back and forth, and didn't want to go to Boston, didn't want to go to New York, wasn't sure what I was going to do. And yeah, he grew up in Jamestown and wanted to live in Providence, but didn't know anyone that he wanted to ask to be a roommate. And I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll come check it out, you know?
I wasn't aware that anyone in Jamestown ever grew up, but okay.
Yeah, I guess he's physically an adult. We'll call it that.
Okay, we'll do.
He's chronologically an adult. There you go.
Yeah.
So then, how do you? Then
He's very much physically an adult.
It's great. I'm 6'5" and have always been the tall guy. He's 6'9" and very proportionally built. So I get to be the like normal guy in the room with him, and it's pretty cool. Actually.
Yeah, the fact that he's 6'5", I actually felt short in the tap room when I was up there in the beginning of January. So.
Yeah,
that might be the shortest guy on this call. At 5'10".
So
5'11".
Anyway,
there, yeah. So then you
finish. So we're same.
There you go. So then you and how do you start going to work for Morgan? How'd that happen?
I was hanging out in his tap room too often.
So he gave you a broom.
Yeah. I was hanging out and I made friends and then when a position opened up, I was there. So I got talked to about the gig, and Morgan and I hung out a few times, made sure that we could spend 40 hours plus a week together because it's just the two of us doing everything. And once that was established and no one would drive each other insane, it was a pretty easy move.
There you go.
Nice.
That's awesome. I do want to bring this up too. I have a bottle of this that I haven't had yet that I'm going to obviously have. It's the house. The house right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a couple weeks ago, we did our second annual Route Beer Show, This Week in Route Beer Show with John Hall, the beer writer, and Dylan definitely wanted us to have this with John, the Tiny Treasures.
How to get the Tiny Treasures.
So
we're trying to figure out a way to get the three of us
together. We got to get the three of us together to have that. So
there you go.
We'll do a mini short little episode while the three of us are together drinking that. So.
Hey John, you know what you should do?
What's that?
To honor their beer. Because in April I'll be in Bamberg. You and John just fly out, meet me there. We'll drink it there.
Done. Fly out to Bamberg. Bring the Tiny Treasures with me. We'll drink the Tiny Treasures in Bamberg.
Yeah, in Bamberg. It'd be awesome.
And then after we drink it, John and I go back to the airport and fly right back home.
Oh, we're trying to still, yeah. And you guys get, and I'll continue on my vacation.
There you go. All right.
But guys, what we're trying to do is we're trying to socialize something because we measure bitterness in IPAs and IBUs, right? International Bitterness Units. We're trying to socialize something called BSUs to measure smokiness in a beer, and that'd be the Bamberg Smoke Units.
Ooh, I like that actually.
So we're trying to get that out there, make that a standard.
We're actually working that and trying to get that to be a thing. We actually have a couple of things we went back and forth with a lot of the
the members of This Week in Route Beer.
This Week in Route Beer. Yeah. So
they get some really good ideas, and I think the ideas that we put out there, the only thing that everyone agreed upon that they liked was Bamberg Smoke Units. That was the only thing that everyone was like, yeah, let's do it.
Because if you can measure it and it has an acronym, then people can get all excited about it and have battles on who gets more in the beer.
The fact of the matter is, I'm just trying to figure out because we can measure IBUs, right? We can measure that. How can we measure smoke units? How can we measure that?
It's a percentage.
It's
a percentage.
It's got to be the percentage of the smoke malt you use in the beer, right? That's the only way you can do it, right?
And I love having that conversation because I've spoken to several different breweries about it, and it's like if there's one thing that America is super afraid of is using 100% smoke malt. Every brewery I've ever spoken to is like,
how you make a route.
What's your smoke rate? Yeah, what's your percentage of smoke malt? Well, ours is 92 because we had to do 6% acidulated in carafoam.
Okay.
But yeah, so at 92%,
I think the best way to measure BSUs.
We're not doing math on the show. We're not doing math.
No math.
I know. I'm waxing. I'm
said
telling the story, so I lost the plot.
I think the best way to measure BSUs is find that person that does not like smoked beers, and then measure how much You know, and there's got to be a measurement.
The happy face.
Right.
No, the unhappy face for those who
Well, it
don't
depends. Well, yeah, it can go either way, right?
Yes.
It's 50% here, whether it's up or down, it goes up or down from there.
Yeah, that'd be a very low BSU. If it's all the way down and they've cracked their face open, we've got about 100 BSUs.
100 BSUs. 100's the max, right? So 100% smoke malt, 100 BSUs. So
there you go.
Yours would be 92. Now, Dylan or Morgan, either of you, tell everybody what's in the Tiny Treasures. What makes this smoked, and what kind of beer is it too?
Did you smoke oysters?
Do you want that one?
Dylan, I'll let you field that one because this is your baby.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love this beer. So it's got smoked oyster shells in it. We had an event with South County Barbecue, a local food pop-up, did an event for us here and gave us a huge bucket of the shells after they did their to-order smoked oysters. And we had them because we knew we wanted to do something with it. Had no idea what to do with it. And at the time, we actually had house in a fermentation tank going. So I looked at it and said, well, let's just harvest yeast off of that and then remake basically house with the oysters and add some local honey and see what happens for the most part.
That sounds like an amazing idea.
Yeah.
I can't wait to taste that.
I can't wait to have it. Yeah. So there's a couple.
It's super. The challenge was really considering the ingredients and the style and knowing that it needs to be a delicate thing, and also making sure that you can place and taste what is in it without anything kind of getting out of whack.
Gotcha. Yeah,
That must have an amazing mouthfeel.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that beer. We're gonna get together with John with 3 beers. That's the number one beer we're having with him. But that's the we're gonna get together with him with 3 of them, 3 beers.
We've got to wait till the restraining order is gone.
It times out in I think March.
Yeah, I think the statute of limitations
16th. Actually, so it's the day before. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
No.
incident.
Exactly.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that yet. Anyway, all right. So where did Morgan go? Morgan just muted and walked away for a minute. So we'll continue on this.
Well, it looked like he was doing pee-pee dance. So
he was. Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah,
I had a feeling it was either his back or his legs. But yeah, I think your head hit the nail on the head.
I think it was pee-pee dance.
Yeah, he was doing that. So anyway, Dylan, we're looking forward to having that with John. Like when you and I talked about that. I talked to John like the day we got back, and I said, yeah, there was his schedule and our schedules were just so weird in January before he was coming on the show that night for the Route Beer show. It just wasn't going to be able to happen. We weren't going to be able to have that, even just to have it and then talk about it on the show wasn't going to happen. So we're going to do a brief show when we get together with him. It's going to be sooner than later. I'll let you know when it is, and we'll
it might be a live thing. I remember
a quick little live thing. So
yeah, the first time I was at the brewery, I don't know if it was an anniversary or something, but you had like a lot of big sticky stouts on tap at the time. Considering you were the fourth brewery,
that's a technical term for all of you that don't know. This big sticky stout is actually in the Brewers Association as a never mind.
Yeah. But it was my 4th brewery of the day, so that was actually disastrous. I don't know how I got home that day.
When Dave does his 4 breweries in one day, the 4th brewery is always the most fun.
Always the most
to
fun.
Be with him, not for him.
Yeah.
To be with him.
So dead sober, I'm quite a bore. But no, I remember having at least 2 or 3 big stouts there. And so that was my first time. So I always thought you guys were a big stout house. So when I started coming back during COVID and picking up an Italian Pilsner, the IPA Object Permanence and a few others, like, okay, so they do more than the big stouts. So how often do you do big stouts like that?
Honestly,
we brew them once a year, and then we throw them in the barrels, and then kind of depends. On a good year, we'll do about 3 barrel-aged stouts. But yeah, it's not a main thing for us. But it's a thing that I like to do.
I love them.
So it's really interesting. I'm really curious. You must have shown up on a Sunday in early December.
It
You
was
got that many stouts.
Yeah, it was cold out. I remember nearly face planting on the stairs up into the brewery because they were pretty much solid ice. it was cold
Oh
out.
God.
And the parking lot the parking lot was slush.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Sunday in early
it sounds
Like
December.
a Sunday in early. Yeah, there you go. There you
I
go.
could probably tell you. I probably checked.
While
figured it out.
While you check,
So
Brian,
I asked. So I asked because every Sunday after our anniversary, we'll put like 4 or 5 barrel aged beers on tap, and so yeah. So it was probably
You're gonna love this. My first ever check in at your brewery. You want to see the picture?
Mhm.
I would love
Let me
to.
see if I can get it close enough so that.
There you go.
There he
is.
is.
It's
There
Ollie.
he is.
That was
Wow,
the first.
that's great.
And that was actually proof of concept. I started off with an IPA.
There
Hip
you
Hop
go.
is Dead.
Double
There
IPA,
we.
actually.
Yeah, and Hip Hop is Dead was my
No.
second one.
Yep.
And then it was
Was
color
that
in
concept
the
an IPA?
color in the lines.
Oh, color
That's
in
what
the
I was-
lines. Yep.
Yep, and this was it was actually it was November of 2019.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So, color in the lines was an interesting project that we never really kicked off the way that I wanted it to. It was a crowdsourced beer.
Okay.
And so yeah, so that was an Oreo stout.
That's right.
What
That's
everyone
what
kind
it
of looked
was.
for. Yeah.
And you know what? I lied to myself and to you guys. That was the only stout you had on that night because I actually have the
Stats.
That's your board.
The old menu.
Old menu.
That's the old
yeah.
menu.
There you
And the meat board was $12. But yeah,
Gastros.
yes, there it goes. And that was, and if you look just to the side of it, you can see the there's the old shirts. The
I still want one of those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think mine would. You'd be a Billy shirt on you. I think as
Yeah, probably.
tall as you are.
Like I said, I grabbed this while I was there. There was no, unfortunately, there was no 2Xs out when I was there, so I would have grabbed one had there been one. But, you might have had him in back, but we were leaving, and I didn't want to bother Dylan because he was getting busy. So
I think what happened is I had two
I
colored
think between
ones.
my buddy Emmett and I, we probably took all the big shirts.
Now I wanted to ask you, Morgan. I saw the way you poured the beer earlier. You went straight down with it. You did an aggressive pour because it's nitro. Is it a nitro beer? Or is it a
The camera is the opposite of my brain, so it's really hard to put centralize that. So this is I'm pouring it's a nitro beer. This is our best bitter. So it's funny you bring up John Hall. This is a 42nd best beer according to Wine Enthusiast magazine, according to John Hall himself.
nice? 42 is a great number to be.
it is a great number to be.
It's a great number.
And it begs the question as to why didn't I have that beer while I was up there? I guess you didn't have that beer while I was up there.
We might not have had it on tap, which is part of the reason. I don't know.
No, we did.
I
They
don't
were
remember the
they were
time
too
frame.
excited about the different vintages of Monsters in the Closet.
We
that were
had a
going
bunch of
on.
monsters in a closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Unless I did. Hold on.
Well, answers the question to life, the universe, and everything now, doesn't it?
Right, exactly. So, I'll put this up really quick. Brian Bogue just said no. He, as far as that wooden beanie, he said he just made a home brew of Two Blind Monks that he added Jack Daniel's chunks and the vanilla beans too on Sunday, and I remember seeing that too in the group, Dave, that he posted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which group? We're in so many groups with them.
With this, well, the
one group that
the one main one. Yeah, there you go.
The group that I created about John going off
We don't have to
every
go there.
Sunday when the Giants play.
We don't have to go there.
It's so much fun.
We don't have to go there. We don't have to go there.
Say it again.
We don't have to go there.
Okay, there we go. We won't go there.
There you go. All right. So, all right. We've talked about the brewery. We've talked about everything that's going on in Cranston. Dave brought up some of the older stuff. You brought up when you opened.
Yeah. Now Revival left, so that left you.
Revival left Cranston and moved to Providence, so that left you guys in Cranston. So, what might be happening with you guys?
Well, it's interesting.
Interesting you phrase it specifically that way. It almost feels like a setup. Like
as if he may know the answer to this question already.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Revival is moving on. I'm not sure if they're going to carry on with their operations in any capacity, but they are no longer in Providence.
Right. I wasn't comparing and all of that. I was just saying
No.
You have news.
Well, so I don't know if you know, but we are moving into the old Revival space in Providence,
which was their second space.
Yeah,
the second space.
So that's why I was like, I feel like this. You're laying me up for an interesting,
right,
an interesting dunk. You you never want to see someone in the position that Revival was in, but it kind of. We were in an interesting situation because our building sold back in, I want to say that was July, maybe August, to some self-storage owners, and so we were fortunate enough to kind of get in touch with the landlords where Revival used to be. So it was a kind of serendipitous situation where we're now taking over their space, and so we're gonna open up a much bigger brewery, restaurant, brew pub, whatever. I don't even know what to call it anymore. It's an amalgamation of fun and awesomeness all in one overly sized space. So we'll have an 11,000 square foot overall space with a 10-barrel brew house.
Wow.
Nice.
Supposedly pizza. We have a chef working on all of that, so we're really excited to kind of open up the floodgates and really do some cool things.
Very nice.
You're moving beyond the $12 meat plate.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Gastros is a Rhode Island staple. I love those guys. So,
that's good stuff. So you're gonna be Efren's neighbor.
Yes. Oh, you guys know Efren.
Yeah.
We know Efren. I lived in Providence for a year. I'm into craft beer. How do you not know Efren?
He was on the show recently, right?
He was
supposed to be.
Supposed to. Well,
he was the one. He was
the one who was under the weather that couldn't come on that night that we were just talking about before. That.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, Everett's been on a few times already, so he's been on the show. That would have been his third appearance on the show. So he's rebooked for a couple months from now. So that'll be his third.
Yeah, well, we started this during COVID, and so I lived in Rhode Island. So our first jumble of guests was a mixture between New Jersey and Rhode Island breweries. I think Lops was our first Rhode Island brewery on the show.
Our first Rhode Island brewery was Lops. Yeah, Sean Lapolita from Lops. Yeah.
I want that guy to return text message. Shit. Sean's the best. I love Sean. I owe him a text message though.
Now there is someone who does a lot of stouts all at once, though.
There you go.
Yeah. What's that? In March he does that every year?
Yep, he's got that. We've got a place here that does a stout fest every year that I am terrified to go to because I know there's no way I'm getting home because they're not close to me.
Well, they're closer to you than they are to me, and I go every year. So
yeah, well, I like my driver's license.
I also have a sister-in-law who lives 3 miles from the brewery.
Yeah, you crash at her house.
So that's exactly right. Anyway,
actually, when I lived in Rhode Island, Sean was the second closest brewery to me because I worked in Woonsocket.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So as Ravenous when they were in the Murder Shack. That's the only thing you could call that building was Murder Shack.
Hey, and I was there before you. I told you about Ravenous.
Yeah, you were. And then they moved, so then Sean became the closest brewery to me.
No, seriously, Morgan. Yeah, the first time I went there was right after they opened, and Jess and I were there. We drove down the side. I went up and down that side road. I don't know how many times. I'm like, where the hell is this place? Finally, I looked and I saw the little letters on the door. Home Depot letters on the door. We're going to go in. I look at it. I'm like, okay, we're going in, one and done. We go in, have a beer, we get out of here, right? We left 3 hours later.
It's so unassuming and terrifying.
First time going there. Murder Shack feels too accurate. But yes, thank God they moved out of that space. But Lord, is that the most accurate description of that space?
Totally accurate. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And their new space is really, really neat. So much room there. You can have events in one room, and you wouldn't even know what's going on. It's really, really kind of cool where they are. Just the complete other side of Woonsocket.
Yeah, pretty much.
Technically,
Cumberland, technically. Yeah, I think you're.
Yeah,
right.
now they're in Cumberland.
Yeah. They're in Cumberland. Yeah, they're in Cumberland.
There's spots right across the street from my girlfriend's folks' house, and they're always packed in there. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, they're quite popular.
Yeah. For those of you not from Rhode Island, it's about this far from each other. It's a palms width apart.
You're just describing the whole state.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Like
so this is 5 minutes. This is 5 minutes.
Right.
What I loved about that state is I went up there to run an operation. And all my employees, a couple from Massachusetts, but they're pretty much all from Rhode Island. And the most interesting thing I found about that state, and you guys are moved into the state, so you probably find the same thing, that those who grew up there, if they have to drive more than half an hour, they have to spend the night. That's forever.
It's 15 minutes is what I've learned.
Oh, is it 15? And
I didn't think it was that far, but apparently it is.
And I swear to God, to people who have never been in the state, there are cars that drive around with a bumper sticker on it that says, "This car never leaves Rhode Island."
Oh yeah, they're very proud of it, and God love them for it. I kind of get it now that I moved down here and thought I would spend a year, and it's been 8. I kind of understand how that works a little bit, but yeah, it's bonkers. It's the amount of people that I do not see anymore now that the bridge is out of commission. They just won't deal with the extra 20 minutes of traffic.
So, John, that bridge is the one that's right next to Narragansett that he's talking
about. Right.
Yes,
I know what bridge he was talking about. We stayed right there.
You were right there.
We stayed in the Hilton property next to Narragansett.
It was neat because I was there, and I'm into craft beer. I'm visiting all the breweries, and as you can tell, I visited the breweries.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got the hat to prove it.
I don't even think they do that hat anymore.
They don't even do it anymore. That's awesome. But
No.
But my staff would say you have been to more places in our state than I have.
And they grew up there. Yeah, they
grew up there, and you know more about my state than I have. Like I know where the vampire is buried. I've visited the grave site there. I've been up into the northwest corner. I've been to
Mercy Brown.
Just for everyone who can't remember the vampire, it's Mercy Brown.
Mercy Brown's grave.
Mercy
Yes,
Brown.
absolutely. That's it. And I spent a lot of time at H.P. Lovecraft's grave. I spent so much of my time in Swan Point Cemetery during COVID because it was like a sanctuary. It was quiet. It was nice. The dead don't make a lot of noise.
They tend not to.
And well, sometimes in Rhode Island they do. But
You ever heard of Mercy Brown?
Mercy Brown.
There you go.
But I'd be biking around there and see people that are like looking for something, and I look at them like, "You looking for something?" Because I knew what they're looking for. Like, where's Lovecraft's grave? It's like, follow me. It's not easy to find. But there, down to Little Compton, up into Foster Gloucester, all over the state. I know who Sophie Brown is. So it's
Dave, that must have taken you forever. It's such a such a
Yeah,
huge
I mean,
place.
I packed into 1 year.
Cover all that area.
It's a beautiful state.
I love the fact that that's the size of the state. I
Yeah.
do. I really, really do. Like growing up in New Jersey, right? I one of the things, I prided myself on is the fact that it's local, right? Everywhere you go in New Jersey is local. New Jersey's huge compared to friggin' Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It's
17 Rhode Islands.
What's that?
It's like 17 Rhode Islands. How many?
It's like
counties
17.
you got?
There's a county in New Jersey that's the size of Rhode Island.
Yeah, that would be.
And New Jersey is one of the smallest states. So go figure. But I love Rhode Island. I love everywhere and everything in it. And I get up there as often as I can. The only place I go to more often than Rhode Island is Boston. That's the only place I go to more often than I go to Rhode Island.
And you have to go through Rhode Island to get to. So.
And most of the time, well, depends on how I go.
No, because if you want to hit Treehouse first.
If I'm hitting Treehouse, I'm not going through Rhode Island. If I'm not hitting Treehouse, I'm going through Rhode Island. Right.
John, have you hit your third beer yet?
I'm pouring it right now. Did you pour yours?
Yes, because speaking of Treehouse, show what you're drinking.
Well, hold on. You show what you're drinking. I gotta pour mine.
No, because mine's a takeoff of what you're drinking.
Okay, so I'm drinking. Obviously, I showed it before. I'm drinking Buttonwoods Object Permanence, and I'll throw the crawl up there right now. So it's a 6.8% American IPA with Citra, right? Object Permanence.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
All Citra. Okay. And because I'm out of Buttonwoods,
mm-hmm.
and we had the two,
mm-hmm.
I should have asked John to bring me more. But I figured I'd play off that, and I'm drinking Impermanence.
Ooh.
From Treehouse. So I'm gonna be sleeping well tonight because this is not a small beer. An Imperial Milk Stout at 9.3%.
They're stouts, right?
Yeah, this is one of their big stuff. This is a beautiful stout. I love this beer. I'm gonna sleep well tonight, and
for sure.
Oh, someone pinged me for a 7 a.m. meeting tomorrow. I think my reply.
You said hell's no.
Oh no, it was straight up fuck no. No, that's not happening. No. You have no idea what I do on Tuesday nights. Do not ping me for a 7 a.m. meeting. I don't care if it's with the people in Japan. Not happening.
It's a pretty pour right there.
That is a pretty beer.
Floor drains at 7 a.m. So. I appreciate you bragging about being able to say no to that, but I'll be at the. I mean, granted, my commute is 7 minutes, so.
My commute. My commute is on Wednesdays. From that bed over there to my ass in this.
Yes, the seat. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. By the way, this smells great. Here, smell this.
Oh, that is
the weird thing is that I actually can smell it. I know that beer so well that I absolutely know what that is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's like when they there's a meme. They say you can't smell a picture, and they show a picture of Play-Doh.
Right.
I can smell this picture.
Wow. Today I'm smelling Play-Doh.
Oh yeah, no, I can. I mean, even you just said it. I can smell Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's something else.
Way to ruin our beer, bud. Thanks.
Ooh, Play-Doh beer. No, don't do that.
No.
That's the stout talking.
That's true, and it's funny. I actually have an Impermanence, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not drinking that.
No.
No.
If you like those big sticky stouts, you got to get back up here. We just made the biggest, stickiest one you can get your hands on this side of New England. Honestly,
I will have to take a ride up.
What is it?
It's called For Real. It's a Imperial Stout, pastry stout. Started about 34 Play-Doh.
Oh wow! We're back to Play-Doh.
Chocolate and peanut butter on nitro.
On nitro. Oh.
I think it plays at about 13-14% alcohol, and
14% on nitro.
That's a nice. That's a nice milkshake stout.
Wait a second. You still have the couch in the brewery?
Oh yeah, couple.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No. Not that couch. Not that couch. Not the couch he's referring to. We have a
The old
different
couch?
couch. You can't sleep on that one.
Oh, okay.
You could, but it's not as big as the old couch
It's
that
not
you're
big,
thinking
the
of.
old- There you
Oh, that old couch was divine.
The old green couch.
Yes.
go.
Oh,
That's
no.
because I said to
so
John.
that old green couch. Yeah,
ahead.
so that old green couch was a Beervana special
Nice.
back in
Really?
that would have been 2019. Yeah, we bought it for $20
Oh,
at a Savers.
love
That
it.
is amazing.
And we literally brought it to Beervana. For those of you who don't know, it's one of the best Rhode Island beer festivals. They do
Sure.
a really great job. But so we brought this $20 green couch to Beervana in 2019. Also set up Dr. Mario. We bought like less than $100 TV from Amazon. Got that like modded out like NES system. That's where that green couch you're referring to comes from. We bought it so that people could just hang out in front of our table and play Dr. Mario.
That
while
is so
drinking beer.
cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's now Bravana's run by the guy who owns Nicky's Liquors, right?
Yeah, Nikki's
And Pizza J Julian's.
Okay.
So Mike owns Nicky's with his brother, and then Brian owns Pizza J and Julian's. It's the two of those guys.
None of
lived
this
in-
means anything to people outside of Rhode
No,
Island.
no, no.
That's why.
I lived in
Hopefully, people outside of Rhode Island will hear this and be interested and intrigued.
and
Go to
there.
find
Julian's.
out.
They have sick beer at Julian's.
I lived in Pawtucket.
They have dry Fontaine in bottles.
Oh, nice. But I lived in Pawtucket, four blocks from Smug. So Smug was my lifeline during COVID because I could just walk there. But I could also walk down to Nicky's, which was awesome.
Fair enough.
Now I told John when he went to Buttonwoods, when he went to visit you guys, I said, yeah, you'll notice that the decor there looks like it was all picked up at the side of the road, that's not, for me, that is not an insult. That is a major compliment because I just love
from him, and if I said
Yeah.
it too, it was the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Because that's exactly
100% was. About 90% of the furniture in the brewery was picked up roadside in Rhode Island,
Yeah.
and it was curated, but it was picked up on the side of the road.
Gotta love it.
Now, here's the thing about Rhode Island. One of the strange things about Rhode Island, you can't, if you've got furniture or mattress or something like that and you want to take it to the dump, they're going to charge you. So when I say by the roadside, it's not outside your house because you'll get charged for doing that. There's a big, they dumped it in front of somebody else's house. And then someone came and grabbed
There
it
you go.
so that they didn't have to pay the fee
I'm
for
going
it.
to throw this comment up there really quick. Doug Smith comments on the show. Obviously, he likes the Bruins. He's from New England. Not New England now, but family has been in Rhode Island since 1633. So his family dates back just a bit. All right.
Glad to hear that his house is thoroughly haunted. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. and then he goes on to say, glad we have great craft beer now. There you go.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
they
Thank you,
do.
bud.
Yeah. Doug's a longtime friend of the show. And he
You might know mine.
what's that?
So his family might know my family back in the long ago. We're mass immigrants back in the late 1500s.
There you go.
What do you mean? That was like a 5-day horse trip at that point. Well,
Yeah, 5 days. Yeah, there you go. Doug reached out to Morgan.
1633.
and Get together. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, neither of my families date back that far into 1600s. Both my families date back to the 1800s. That's as far back as I can go. So
We seem to have lost.
we seem to have lost both of our.
I
I had a dog getting really angry about being trapped in a room.
Dylan walked away right when you did.
That's funny. So I'm wondering if both you and Doug's family wound up on the had anybody on the Gatsby.
No.
You didn't.
We just burned witches.
Oh, you just burned witches. Oh, okay.
Burn witches. There you go.
Yeah. No. Then we
You
went
burned-
to Vermont after that.
Wait a second. Did you burn through the witches that slam in the back of your Dracula? No, never mind. That's
No.
something
You're
else.
That was a deep cut for me. Sorry.
That's
That's a very deep cut.
It's a Rob Zombie lyric.
You
had to.
I'm so mad I wasn't in front of the microphone right there for a second. I had you on that. I was going to continue the song first.
Oh, you know the song. Dylan knows the song. That's one of my favorite albums, by the way. But so those who don't know, the Gaspee was a British boat that the Rhode Islanders all decided to go attack. And actually, the first shot of the Revolutionary War was not at the Concord Bridge. It was at the captain of the Gaspee, and it killed him eventually. So Rhode Island has that claim to fame that no one acknowledges. That's
the Gaspee Day Parade right there. We know about that one.
Oh, yes. That's
Cranston.
Cranston. Here's to Cranston.
Here's to Cranston.
Here's to Cranston.
Here's to Cranston. By the way, Object Permanence is fantastic. I'm not blowing smoke.
It's a great beer.
It's fantastic. I love Citra, so I mean, I have my hops that I fanboy, and then we wind up using them at some point, right? Like for a while now, I've been a big Sabro whore.
Yeah, Sabro whore is the absolute right phrase for that.
Sabro's kind of back. I like it.
Is it?
Sabro's kind of back.
Tell me more.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Sabro is it oxidizes too quickly. I don't think it lasts as long as most.
It's not a very stable hop.
It's not. You got to drink it fresh
with an entirely different flavor profile or aroma profile or what have you. It's kind of in that like some of those like I don't know if it's an oil content thing. Maybe it's an oil content and alpha acid mix sort of thing where it just like sometimes certain hops will hold up longer and some are just you got to use them right away fresh or they're gone. It's
like like one of our flagships is it's Sabro Motueka. So it's, we put the lime in the coconut. So
you put the lime in the coconut. But you got to watch out with Sabro is it's super woody. So like that woody characteristic overabundance really just
which is why everything. It's like 3-1 Motueka to Sabro. So
we're working on figuring Talus out right now, and I'm kind of in a similar boat where it's got that incredible zesty lime bit, but that woodiness is hard to control.
It's hard. It is hard to control. There's I think it's not named yet, or at least it wasn't at CBC last year. I think I'm going to say HBC. I'll look at it, but I don't want to say it. I'll find it first before I say the wrong one. But it's not named yet. It was super berry, and it was really, really like in a really good way.
Was that the 1036?
1036. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Nice.
The one Brian used, right?
Brian, I don't know.
I think.
No, that was 586. I love that one. Okay. That's a really cool hop. I don't know if you guys have tried that one before.
586 is good, but 1036 is what I was talking about. It's It's like super berry. It's like and not in like a bad way. It was really good.
It reminds me of like taking off the dank and catty of Mosaic and just kind of leaving that blueberry thing behind. Like just really amp that up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds like that would make a great milkshake IPA.
Are we still doing that?
Or you could just put blueberries. And lactose in a beer.
That is
my stomach already hurts from the lactose. Dude. You gotta calm
down.
That
is so tongue in cheek. John knows what I think about milkshake IPAs.
He kids. Is what he does.
I had to ask. I've met enough people who are serious about them that I needed to make sure that I could make the right joke at the right moment.
We have very close friends in the industry that swear by lactose. We'll call it that.
No, they don't swear by lactose. Their whole livelihood is based on that.
Well, I said what I said. You can say something else if you want.
There was one time I was at the brewery and there was a tank truck that had pulled up, and I don't know what it was there for. But I took a picture of it and posted to the group going, well, these guys are getting their lactose delivery. It was a full-length trailer.
Just getting the oil delivered.
Oh yeah, well, everybody busts their chops. Their grain silo outside. It's not grain. It's lactose.
It's lactose. But the thing is, we'll say their name. It's Bolero Snort Brewing. It's Scott and Bob. And
I already knew.
Yeah, oh, you knew who we're talking about.
Yeah, I know New Jersey.
Yeah. But they actually love the fact that we make fun of them for it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
they make fun of themselves for it. So
yeah.
They
actually have a beer called Oops No Lactose.
Yeah, and they make great beer. I've had a lot of their stuff, and they're very good. But man, as soon as you said the lactose beer, is like, it's got to be Bolero Snort because you're not in Pennsylvania, and Tired Hands isn't that close.
I got
Tired Hands. Tired
Hands is I got to throw this up there. Brian Boak just said, "We all know who."
Ditto, Brian.
Yep.
And then I got to throw a few things up there from Doug Smith, which we call it. He said, "Oh, geez, I got to go back." He said, "No, we went back to where he was from." He says, "We went from Roxbury, to Portsmouth, Rhode Island. I remember the Gatsby Day Parade, and he said May 5th is Rhode Island Independence Day. Declared independence first. Loved the old Buttonwoods base. Sad to hear revival is history." And I was looking at that. That's very poignant. Revival is history.
I don't think it's fair to call it history. Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to figure it out. It's just
trying to figure it
out.
out.
A little bump in the road.
Yeah,
gotcha.
We're not calling them dead in the water. They're still around. They're not kaput. You know, it's not official. They're
done at the space that they were in. What happens from now is to be determined.
TBD.
Yes.
There you go.
Right.
And then he also said that pizza oven you guys are getting is amazing. He said
that's been a big conversation.
I haven't figured that one out yet.
Well, actually said
that's
he said getting in amazing, and then he clarified is amazing.
We're trying to figure that one out. So I appreciate that, but we'll when we figure it out, you'll know. But it's not happening just yet.
Exactly.
And I that space that you're in is amazing because you've got the market there. The Rhode Island Fresh Market. Now, where I used to live,
there's two buildings, right? Like because Efren over it at
it's
Providence
across the drive.
It's across the drive-through, and then because you're on Sims, right next to Atwell's.
Yep.
But there's two buildings
across from the distillery.
Efren's in one, across from the distillery. Efren's in one, and you're in the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are not familiar, this is Sims Ave. It is literally one block.
Yep.
It's one block.
We're right here. Yeah, we're right here. Farm Fresh RI is right here. It is sandwiched between Harris's on this side, and I don't remember the name of the street on the other side. There's a river just on the other side.
Which no one can pronounce unless you grew up in Rhode Island.
Thank you. I was going to try and pronounce it, and I appreciate you helping me dodge that bullet.
None of the four of us here grew up in Rhode Island. So.
No, none of us are going to attempt that one.
Right. Oh,
it's the Woonascut. Woonascut.
It's the
Woonascut.
You ruined the bit.
Yeah, I had it like 2 days ago.
Woonasquat.
I had it 2 days ago.
Woonasquat? Did you just say Woonasquat? Did you just say...
No, it's Woonasquatetic. No, that's not it either. It's impossible to pronounce the damn.
I had it 2 days ago, I swear.
Beautiful walk along that.
But so we're right there. So it's a block long where there's a distillery here, brewery here,
Woonasquatucket.
Woonasquatucket.
There it is.
Woonasquatucket.
Say it 4 times fast.
Woonasquatucket.
Got him.
And Doug just said, I can say it.
Yeah.
Because he grew up there. That's why.
Yeah.
You all just summon the Providence
Mayor. What's the score of the Bruins game going on there? I haven't been watching
it. Doug, let us know the score of the Bruins game.
Yeah, I know they're playing Calgary. Obviously, I'm doing this, so I'm a little behind on the game.
All right.
All I know is the Rangers are still in first place.
Right? All right, quick. Yeah, because obviously, Dylan, are you a Bruins fan?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Morgan, are you a Bruins fan? You grew up You did not grow up.
No, I'm a Caps fan.
You're a Caps fan. Okay. So,
Yeah,
so both of you
Caps,
don't like
Caps.
the fact that Dave and I are Rangers fans.
No, not at all.
Oh, yeah. Well, you brought up the Giants, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, I'm a Washington kid, so
You're a Redskins. I'm sorry, Commanders fan. Are you happy?
No.
Are you happy about
Washington.
Are you happy?
It's better than the football team.
All right.
I like the football team better than the Commanders.
I thought football team was kind of cool, honestly.
I thought
Morgan, it was.
I thought it was cool too. Morgan, let me ask you. I said from day one when they were talking about changing the name, I said they should just go to Skins.
There you go.
Because 90% of the time you said Skins anyway. What the hell's the difference?
And that's then some team, and then you could get the Cowboys because they're cursed. They could change their name to Shirts.
Shirts and Skins. There you go. Well, no, I said if Washington calls themselves the Skins, somewhere some skeletons are going to get pissed off that they call themselves the Skins. All right. But in any event,
it was inevitable we were going to change the name, but the name, and it was also inevitable that Dan Snyder was going to ruin that name.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're done with that, man.
Doug,
no famous person.
Good.
No famous person with my last name has ever done anything good.
Love to see it. You love to see
losing
that.
2-0. There you go. So, Morgan, let me ask you: are you happy with Dan Quinn?
I don't have an answer yet. It's too early.
All right.
Are you happy? Ask me that question in a year.
Are you happy with Cliff Kingsbury as OC, offensive coordinator?
You know,
if you give John the opportunity,
he's not, because that's the worst hiring I've ever seen in my life.
So let me answer this very appropriately. I'm a lifelong Washington fan. I've seen so many mistakes happen. I believe in nothing until I get results. So
very DC of you.
No decision is, no good decision has been made until we have a winning record next year.
Fair enough.
That's the only way to handle that question, because we are a disaster team.
Well,
and you just hired a guy that lost 28-3 in the Super Bowl. That's tough.
Yeah, well, you're talking to Giants fans. So we've had nothing but disasters for the past. How long, John?
Since we won the Super Bowl 12 years ago, but that's besides the point. So.
Yeah, 93 was a pretty long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Washington won in 1993. Just remember that, guys.
January 92.
Oh, 92. Sorry. I always get that number wrong. But
I wasn't even alive.
You guys have won.
The Giants have won 2 and been in 3 Super Bowls since Washington won last.
It's the reason we root against the Ravens.
But here's the other thing. That same thing can be said about Dallas, too. The Giants have won 2 and been in 3 Super Bowls since the last time Dallas won 2. So that's besides the point.
Fuck Dallas.
Exactly.
Anyway, back to the podcast.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done with. Oh, God.
I'm not done.
I may have to go pee.
Dylan, you, yeah. Dylan, clearly, I'm assuming you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
There's some trepidation in that answer.
So the thing is that yes, because I grew up with essentially Tom Brady being the quarterback most of what I can remember as far as football goes. Mm-hmm. But I got super into fantasy football very young as well, which ruined any true team football allegiance I probably ever had.
So you really liked Eli Manning. That's what you're saying right now, right?
If he was on my fantasy team, sure. Yeah,
of course.
That sounds pretty cool.
There you go.
Nah, hockey's
I own exactly.
I get emotional about.
Hockey's your sport.
It's the one I get emotional
I own
about
exactly one Patriots jersey.
There you go. There you go.
Josh
Gordon. Oh, Josh Gordon.
There you go.
Nice. Smoke another one, brother.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. Should I tell him? Should I tell him?
There's a
Okay.
reason that,
Sure.
that John is Jersey Johnny.
I'm Jersey
not because
Johnny
of
for
Jersey.
two reasons. One, because we're from New Jersey, and also because I'm a jersey collector. Actually, I do a sports podcast on Wednesday nights, right? So tomorrow night I'll be doing a sports podcast.
Jesus.
You just
own
did one tonight.
You own exactly one Patriots jersey. I got two, and I got a Tom Brady jersey, and I got a Sonny Michel jersey, actually. But
Woof.
yeah, but
I have a Browns jersey, Washington jerseys, several. I have a Clinton Portis jersey, which I'm really proud of.
Oh, nice.
it's funny. I have a
and
Clinton
Kansas
Portis.
City Chiefs.
I have a Clinton Portis jersey. I have a Brian Arapko jersey, and I have
Yes.
yes, and I have a whatchamacallit, a John Riggins jersey.
Rigo.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And by the way, just
Riggins.
Yep. And I just want to just show you last February, I was actually in Maryland. I was down by DC. And there you go. I went to the pro shop, bought a cap, and there's me taking a picture.
There
you go.
Outside the shittiest stadium in the NFL.
That is absolutely
We don't have to shine that light.
But hopefully you get a new one now with Magic Johnson being part of the ownership group. Hopefully you get a new stadium soon. But anyway,
No.
RFK is here to stay.
yeah. Well, RFK is still there, so maybe they go back to it. Maybe they just renovate it and go back to it.
That'd be pretty smart.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. All right. So you're moving over to Sims. You got a lot of stuff in the works. When do you think that's going to happen? Obviously, no timeline. Well, obviously there's a timeline, but there's no specific date. So when approximately is it soon? Is it later? Is it later this year? Is it when are you? Obviously, you're going to make the announcement. We'll post it on here. When you make the announcement, we'll share it on on everything too.
So I mean, the succinct answer is soon, but not soon enough. That's what I kind of been telling people. We're moving really quickly. A lot of it's just slapping a new paint on the space.
Yeah, it's a brewery already, right? So it's not like you're
stuff.
building anything.
Right.
So you just got to go in it. Yeah.
You might want to change the logo.
So right now-
at it.
Yeah, I mean paint.
Yeah.
I mean we're moving pretty quick. I don't really have a timeline just yet. We're moving faster than I expected, but thankfully the government has stepped in and moved a little bit slower than I expected.
Thankfully, the government has moved in and stepped in and moved a little slower. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, I mean,
That's the way it works.
yes, that's the way it works. Right. Exactly.
But I mean, bureaucracy is a fun game. So we're waiting on license transfers more than anything else right now. I'm waiting on the TTB. We submitted that like 2 months ago, and I haven't heard anything yet. So
yeah, you're still about 2.
Couple years out.
Yeah. So, well, they were looking at 45 days when I submitted it. So I was like, oh, cool. We'll be,
You believe that?
moving along.
The TTB is better than most states. So I mean, if they said 45 days, 90, just double it. So you're probably a month away.
Well, no,
That's a good thing. That's
like
a good thing.
Yeah. So they have an actual tracker of how long they take, and it said 45 days when I submitted. They're now looking at 62 days on a license. So I'm like, shit.
Now,
it's going to be longer because December and whatnot.
Right.
Well,
that's it.
But
You
to be a lull between the time that you move, is there going to be between the closure of where you are to there? Is there going to be a time frame where there's going to be no operations, or is it just going to be seamless?
No, it's going to be seamless. We're going to be down for a week, at least the way we're projecting. So,
Jesus, it'll probably be like, because I'm planning to come up in October for a long weekend. It'll probably be that weekend.
Oh yeah, we'll be in there. Like,
Yeah, we'll have been open
if
for
we're
a
not
while.
in there, then
Okay, great.
yeah.
We get a big benefit of the fact that our production space and our tap room space are in separate like rooms and facilities almost, because as we're going to move the tap room first, and then we can kind of slowly transition everything through without really having to drop production or sale service or anything like that really at any point.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's great. So that's great. So when I come up, I can visit you guys and Ephraim all in the same hour.
You park once and
or five.
Yeah.
Right. Or stumble.
Or Uber
stagger.
once and
Yeah.
Uber back. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to Uber between the two places. It's
Yeah.
it's a whole trip.
I dare you, Dave, to get an Uber from Providence Brewing to Buttonwoods.
It'll be a guy who shows up on a skateboard.
Yeah, really.
Just, boop, move you right over.
Give you a handy pair of roller skates and give you a string.
There you go.
Yeah.
And a brand new key? No, that's
key,
an old song.
That's old. No. Don't
Oof, we are
so rollerblades. Excuse me. When I say skates, I'm sorry. It's this talking. Anyway. All right. I want to throw these up there from Doug Smith. After he said that the Bruins were losing 2-0, he said, Where are you from the DC area? My was born there, grew up in Vienna, Virginia, like all DC teams after the New England. I like all DC teams after the New England teams. And then he said, I love it. My son had a Josh Gordon jersey. Wife is from DC. Where in DC are you from? There you go.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Virginia side, so Vienna. I had two girlfriends who lived in Vienna, but I grew up in
at the same time
with his.
Same
No,
damn
I wasn't that kind of guy.
So there you go. And he's from Vienna, Virginia. So there you go. Grew up in Vienna.
Yeah.
So.
It sounds like his wife grew
Vienna
up.
wasn't
Wife grew up in Virginia.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, no, weirdly enough, had two different girlfriends at different times in high school in Vienna. But yeah, no, I that was about 35, 40 minutes for me, depending on traffic. So anywhere between 45 and 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I grew up in North Jersey, so the next town was 35 or 40 minutes away. So,
well, the thing is, you have no idea what the traffic's like. The traffic in Vienna is insane.
mm-hmm.
Because they're not too far from Dulles, and to get from Vienna to Dulles is going to take you a good hour. It's only what, 10 miles?
Well, I lived near Dulles.
Oh,
I lived about 15 minutes from Dulles, as long as traffic wasn't a nightmare.
yeah.
So yeah,
And traffic's usually a nightmare there.
it's always a nightmare. Never.
Well, because
was.
you got what, Tyson's Corner. It's got what, 3 high-end malls right there.
Technically only 2 for now. They never did anything past the third iteration. Yeah, it's one of the biggest like shopping epicenters in the U.S. that's still alive.
As you can tell, my business is retail.
Yeah.
So Vienna, Tyson's Corner, Fairfax Square. No, yeah.
There you go.
All of that.
Exactly.
And if you get out to Dulles, do yourself a favor, get to the annex for the Air and Space Museum. That place is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, the coolest part of that whole area.
Oh, hands down. And yeah, Air and Space Museum in DC proper is, it's really cool. You got the original lunar lander there, but you've got a space shuttle. You've got the Enola Gay. There's so much that's in that annex. That is so cool. So cool. So, John, what are we up to?
I was just about to say. So, all right. So
Yeah,
we'll get back to a couple. Let's take a pause here and let's go to our top threes.
Yeah,
I think it's time for
All
it.
right.
This week's top 3 list is, and just so they're aware, and we say this on occasion, we haven't said it a lot lately, but our top 3 list is a top 3 for 2 reasons. One, a top 10 list would take way too freaking long. Okay, and also because when we first started this podcast,
well, we never stick to 3 anyway.
we never stick to 3 anyway. But when we first started this podcast almost 4 years ago, it was during COVID, right? And it was just the first several shows were just Dave and I, so it was just the 2 of us. So we did a top 3, 2 3s, 33, 1933, the repeal of prohibition. That's why it's a top 3 list. So there you go. So tonight's top 3 list is top 3 favorite lagers not brewed by Buttonwoods. Top 3 favorite lagers not brewed by Buttonwoods.
And why is it not brewed by Buttonwoods?
Not brewed by Buttonwoods because Dave and I just had 2 lagers brewed by Buttonwoods on the show. They'd be 1 and 2 tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Too kind.
All right.
We keep it fair for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. So top three favorite lagers. Any style you guys want, more on it when Dave and I go. But Morgan, let's start with you. What are your top 3 favorite lagers?
So that was an easy one. Dylan gave me the heads up on this question, and I appreciate that. It's so number 3 is going to be Palatine Pils. Suarez Family Brewing is stunning. Absolutely love them. Dan's a freaking goddamn gem. I had the good fortune of meeting him right around when they first opened up, and weirdly enough, I had met him in my early days in beer, but I had no idea who he was back when they released the first batch of Convivial Suarez. He's just an absolutely stunning human being, absolutely amazing beer. Palatine Pils is one of my go-tos. So, that was a layup there. And then the next one is, I think this is the right one. It's Cabin, the smoked Hellas from Fox Farm.
Oh,
I think I got that one right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I had a moment of doubt there, so thank you for confirming. And sorry, Dave and Zach, if I got that one wrong. But that brewery's amazing. Those beers are awesome. They need to step it up from 30% smoked malt, but I bust their balls every time I see them about it. Anyways,
what was it? Only
they're about
30. There's only 30 BSUs.
Yeah, only.
In that?
I know, but it's still a really good beer despite the fact
It
that
is
only 30 BSUs. So Fox Farm is one of my favorite lager producers. I go there probably 3 to 6 times a year.
Fox Farm's fantastic.
They're only in.
They are amazing.
Oh yeah, they're about an hour from us, so I love everything they do. And then I have to say my number one is a weird one, and it's weird only because I have no idea what beer it was. I just know it was a lager from Human Robot that they did. So Finback does this event called Whale Watching. They've done it 2 years in a row.
Yep.
The first year they did it, they brought up a keg of I can't think of the guy's Ken, who's like the hype man from Human Robot, brought up a keg and did a milk pours from this like jockey box setup, and that thing, whatever it was amazing. It was all sauce, according to the head brewer. It tastes like an orange creamsicle. I wish I knew what beer it was. It lives rent free in my brain, and I hope to eventually be as good as that beer. That's number one, just for that reason.
The thing, and it's funny that you bring that up because I was going to ask you. Milk tubes, not milk tubes. Are you a fan of them?
We're the biggest milk tube brewery in Rhode Island. We do Underbergs and milk tubes all the time.
I've never done a milk tube there. That's
Tube in a berg, you got to pull up.
Tube in a berg.
Damn.
We sell almost 500 Underbergs a month. And let me clarify, we don't sell Underberg by itself. We sell Underberg with a milk tube. So we do at least 500 milk tubes in a month.
See,
it's crazy.
Which is weird because Human Robot does like 500 milk tubes in a weekend. But
yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Look, we're not.
I'm kidding.
We're in Providence.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: anybody else in the at least the States, I think 500 in a month is good.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. Human Robot's a different animal, so it's
for sure.
Well, the thing is, they have a shirt. They have a shirt that says "Got milk tubes."
Yeah, not milk tube.
We have a sticker that says "Tubing Time."
Right,
so we're not quite on the shirt level, but yeah.
But honestly, I don't honestly anywhere I've gone, with the exception maybe Cohesion out in Denver, can say that they do more than 500 milk tubes in a month, right? So you got
that one blew my mind when I saw those numbers. Yeah. When I saw those numbers, ridiculous. Holy fucking shit.
Well, the thing about milk tubes is the first time that I ever came across them was my first time to Human Robot. And I'm looking at this and, being around the beer industry for so long, you get a little snob and you're like, what is this? This is such a gimmicky thing. it's such a gimmicky thing, right? And I'm like, you know what? I'm here. It's a big thing. Let me give it a shot. I did 3 of them. It was because they're so good, just so good. We've got a brewery in New Jersey called Ghost Talk, and on their anniversary, I talked the owner into doing Milkos with me. I've got a video of it somewhere. Steve and I doing milk tubes. It's just I think it's wonderful because you get all that flavor compacted into the foam without getting all that ABV. It's a great experience. And here I am talking about this, and I don't drink non-alcoholic beer. It's like what's the point?
It's the texture and the fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Here he comes.
It's a brewery that breweries can't do shots, so it's like a Dylan kind of talked me into it. It's like it's a beer shot.
We got in a yelling match in the tap room about it at first. It was very funny.
No, because you were against slow pours. That's why we got in the yelling.
Maybe
match.
I was yelling. Maybe I was yelling.
And the thing is, Human Robot was the first in the U.S. to do Milko pours. Where it's something that's not uncommon in the Czech Republic.
I had my first one at Davari Rez.
Yeah.
No, so the first one was definitely Notch.
Was it definitely Notch?
But
I've read everything that it was Human Robot.
Legos, but not the tubes. I feel like they're very anti.
So Human Robot did the tubes first.
Yeah, they did the tubes first.
So Human Robot did tubes, but Notch did the Maliko pour first.
Notch did the Milko pours first. Notch did do the Milko pours first. Yeah,
Milkos, but not in the tubes. Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Right.
Good. So, all right. I'm assuming Morgan's done. Dylan, yours.
All right. So let's go. Number 3 would be Oxbow Lupolo. Just,
not a bad call.
Just incredible Italian style, doing that thing. Number 2, I'm on a huge smoke kick. So just Schlenkela, Rauch beer, just anything about that. It's that thing, or actually, instead of just the regular, I would go, they put out their rot beer recently. And
the rot beer they put
The rot beer is my favorite Schlenkela that I've had. Excuse my pronunciation. That is a
Schlenkela.
probably good way to pronounce it. But no, that rot beer was a really, really inspiring beer to kind of taste on and drink a few pints of.
John knows I've been in search for their smoked Schwartz.
I have not had that.
I have a can of it, and unfortunately, there was when I was in the store I was in with my partner in Coastal Brew Works, whatever.
Yeah.
And there was 2 cans left of it, and I was gonna get both, give Dave one, but he wanted one, so So
I lose.
He does.
I'm still searching.
That sounds incredible. Like I know a few of my favorite kind of porter or darker styles. Like I know the brewers incorporate a little bit of smoke in there, but I would love to taste a Schlenkela that's just like all smoked malt like that with that. Sounds really good. And my favorite lager that I've had in honestly what I can remember tasting was the Fooder Conditioned Modernism, which is a dark Czech from Schilling. That beer was transcendent.
Oh my god,
that beer! I've drank more than my fair share of modernism on its own, and throwing it through the Fooder like that just added even more of that kind of like that complexity to it, and really just kind of the slight tannin from the Fooder and the oak just shaped the beer so much better. I really love that one.
Well, Dylan just took me to 7, John. The thing about it is when John brought up this top 3, I ran through all the breweries that I know that I love their lagers from. John, am I a shilling whore or not?
Oh, huge.
I
We all should
failed.
be.
I failed to think of Schilling for some reason.
Yeah,
And
they do some stuff up there.
My God, I failed because, and I'll have to throw it as an honorable mention because I got reminded of it. Their Glodiski is
That Grodzitsky is ridiculous.
Krasinski.
Hold on one second.
Ah,
Hold on.
the
Hold on.
Grodzitsky.
Hold on. Everybody, just right here. Just look to see the Giants football right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see behind it this right here?
That is the good. That's the
the
Glodiski
is that a
bottle.
bottle?
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. The
And where-
Pivo Grzycki.
Ivo Glodiski. Where'd you get that from, John?
That would be you.
I brought that. I did Hill Farmstead and Schilling in one day, and there's no better duo in one day that you can possibly do than those two because they are such entirely different breweries doing so many different things and doing them so perfectly, and both are just beautiful locations to sit and drink a beer. You can't get better than visiting those two breweries in one day. It's hard to top that. I don't know if I ever top that. So that's one of my my honorable mentions there, John. Is that bottle.
My honorable mention in that kind of makes the trinity of beautiful places to sit and have a beer on the Fox Farm. Their Gajitski as well is just.
I have not had that, and the thing about it,
ridiculous.
I gotta get that. So I've only got the Fox Farm once, and it was during COVID, so I was not able to go into the tap room. So when I'm going to time it so that when I come back to Rhode Island, we're stopping at Fox Farm first.
Yes.
I walked out
It's
with
not
two,
on the way.
it does. I don't care. It is on the way.
It's on the way to Montreal. Fine.
Fox Farm
Yeah.
is on the way to Rhode Island, as far as I'm concerned. It's okay. So yeah, you got to go a little north, and you've got to go down a road where you've got to watch out for possible livestock crossing the road, and signs saying "Please respect our neighbors." That's true. The livestock's not so much. There are chickens, but no, Fox Farm for me will be on the way. So that's my honorable mention. One of my honorable mentions, John. I'm going to throw out. I don't even know what order to put these in. But usually what I like to do when we've got something like this, I got too many options, I'm going to narrow it down into categories. So I'm going to do a jersey, a non-jersey in the U.S., and a non-U.S. is what I'm going to wind up doing. But I'll give the honorable mentions first. Silvaticus's Vienna Lager Requiem.
Oh yes. Yep.
I'm sitting in the brewery.
Which one?
It's Requiem. They're Vienna Lager.
Requiem.
Yeah, so you sit in the brewery, and I ordered the Schwartz beer first, Oblivion, which is amazing. And I'm watching these glasses go by with these incredible rocky heads on them. Like, I need that in my mouth. I need one of those, and that's a phenomenal beer. So that had to be one of them. We mentioned Human Robot, Rangi. They do a New Zealand pills. It is like walking through a field of flowers on a summer day.
What's the name of it again?
Rangi, R-A-G-N-I.
Rangi.
R-A-N-G-I. Yeah. R-A-N-G-I.
R-A-N-G-I, yeah.
Rangi. That's a beautiful beer. And Sacred Profane. So Sacred Profane in Biddeford is the first Czech tank brewery to open.
So we're doing the light on that one?
Yeah, because John and I are. We forgot to mention. John and I are not doing.
Oh, yeah.
John and I are not doing the darks because John and I are dark lager. We're bringing up
We're horse.
Tomavi Pivos and Schwartz beers.
If this was just lagers including
they would just
darks,
all be dark beers.
They would all be Schwartz beers and Tomavi Pivos.
Yeah,
they would all be.
And I'm going to go too long as it is anyway on this. If it had been the dark lagers, it would have been twice as long with all the honorable mentions. So, yeah, it's got to be the light. But the whole thing about the light, and, Kerry, who's sitting in the other room, can attest to this. I took one sip of their light, and tears nearly came to my eyes because I'm of the age to remember what Pilsner Urquell used to taste like. Mm-hmm. They're okay. There's no way you're ever going to recapture that. because they can't even recapture that because the wood is gone. They went to stainless when the wall came down. They can't recapture what it was like. But to have something close enough and to sit in this country and drink it. And I was a week too early. They were canning the week later, so I couldn't bring cans home. But man, that was one that was phenomenal. So on to my top three. Number 3 comes from New Jersey.
Hold on. Okay. So the Requiem, Orangi, and the Light from Sacred Profane, they're always showing as honorable mentions.
They're all honorable mentions.
You haven't gotten to your top 3 yet.
I haven't got to the top 3.
You are a pain in my ass.
You know I am. This means you weren't paying attention if you started to type this all into your spreadsheet.
I typed it all into the spreadsheet. So.
That's on you. That's not on me.
I know. I can.
At any rate, so
we all saw the wax. It's poetic.
Waxing poetic. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
All good.
So number 3 is the one from New Jersey, and I think one of our more underrated breweries in New Jersey, is a brewery called Ghost Hawk.
Oh, damn it! I thought you were. Never mind. Okay.
Ghost Hawk is right across the street from the best hot dog place in the country, voted that way all the time, Rutt's Hut. They're right across the street. You go to Rutt's Hut, you get a couple Rippers or Wellers.
You guys got to come down to Jersey. We'll take you around.
Oh yeah, we got to take. Then you go across and you go there. They do an Italian Pils called Paparazzi that is to die for. This thing is fantastic. So that's number 3. Italian Pils from Buttonwoods may have taken that spot, but we're not allowed to use them. So, so that's my New Jersey one. My U.S. one outside of New Jersey, and John knows that I absolutely love this brewery. They're in Utah, Temple and Family Brewery, TF Brewing. Mm-hmm. They're Jarda, it's called. It's a Czech light Pilsner. And man, it is so damn good. This is not necessarily an honorable mention, but they do a Rauch beer series where they age on different woods each time. And when I was there, they did it in beechwood. That was actually quite special. But my number one, and this is out of the U.S. And,
hold on, is it this one right here?
No, sorry,
I'm kidding.
That's not out of the U.S. That is your that's John's. No, it's actually not. It's not even the one it's named after. This would be Tap 01.
Tap 01, yeah.
And this is Schneider Weiss's Helles.
Yes, wow.
And when you and this is where John gives me the finger. When you're actually sitting in the brewery drinking it from tap number 1, it makes it even the more special. And I would have actually mentioned tap number 6, but 6, we consider that a dark, John?
Tap number 6, I would consider a Weizen Doppelbock.
It is a Weizen Doppelbock, but I didn't put that in because that would have been my number 1, and that would be Aventinus off the tap. In their tap room in Munich would have been my number 1. But I had to put
I would. Yeah, that's darker. I would leave that alone. Yeah,
so I'm leaving that off. So I'm going with Tap 1 Helles as my number 1 lager I've ever had in my life.
There you go. Fair enough. All right, I got a few honorable mentions that I will throw up there as well. One I'm going to put up there, and a couple of these Dave has had. An honorable mention I'll throw up there that obviously are not Buttonwoods and are not Coastal either.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing that up there. Right?
He's got a couple.
So,
important,
very important. Bunker Brewing's Hacienda Lime.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Throwing it back for some Portland love. I like that. I like that a lot.
And John and I both agree that Bunker is the most underrated brewery in all of Portland.
I honestly agree with that. I love that.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
They do.
Cranston
shit.
is probably my favorite human being on the face of this planet. So yeah, he does amazing beer. He is awesome.
And again, just like Dylan did to me, John, you're shading me because you know how much I love the machine.
Oh, the machine, yeah.
God.
The machine Pils is fantastic. Yeah.
That is just an amazing. Oh God,
That
Can I redo my list?
Throw that in. You know what?
I didn't know we were going to talk about all these beers that didn't come to mind when I was cleaning kegs, thinking about it. Like, what are we
I'll
doing?
add the machine.
I know.
in there.
I have at least one honorable mention. That's it. Just one.
I'll throw the machine pills in there from Bunker for all four of us. How's
Yeah,
that?
there you go.
Yeah, all right.
God, that's such a great beer.
That's a great beer. Another one from Portland, from Four River, actually. Dow's Folly. They did a pre-prohibition lager. And
that's such a good beer.
A fantastic beer.
That's
That
a fantastic
really do
beer.
well on that beer. And my other honorable mention is OEC, their Cool Ship Lager.
That's
lager.
Strong choice.
Yeah.
Strong choice.
really good.
Wow.
Love that beer.
Yeah, fantastic.
Unlocking a core memory right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my honorable mentions. My top three are from Interborough, our buddy Jesse. David I've known for many years. Interborough in Brooklyn. Dos Ojos.
Yeah.
The Vienna Lager. Fantastic Vienna Lager. So good.
Jesse knows what he's doing.
He
is one of the authors
He
of
sure
my
does.
favorite beer of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which one?
Carton's boat beer.
Carton boat beer. Yeah. Jesse was the original brewer for Carton. Jesse
Yeah, he also was
the original brewer for Carton. And he worked for Other Half.
Yeah, he was an OG brewer at Other Half.
Other Half. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I worked in Brooklyn for a while, and Jesse was kind enough to show me around his earlier opening weekend. So you will never hear a bad word out of my mouth about Jesse Ferguson and all of the phenomenal beer they make at Interborough.
Jesse Ferguson is a good friend. He and I go back many years, and he's his Dos Ojos is amazing. And kudos to that. Absolutely.
Too many drunken nights with
with Jesse. Yeah, exactly. More on that after we sign off. I'll tell you a story about that. But anyway, my number two, Jack's Abbey Citra Brow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a really
Okay.
tasty beer.
Dark horse for number 2. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a surprise number.
That's unexpected, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, Jack's Abbey, Copper Legend.
Copper
Yeah,
Legend.
I'm with Dylan on that one. Yeah.
Copper Legend's amazing.
That's my
Legend's
personal
amazing.
favorite, Jack's Abbey.
I think I went with Citra Brow only because actually I had a bunch of beers on there, and I had a bunch of breweries on there or whatever. And Jack's Abbey's obviously it's got to be a Jack's Abbey beer if we're doing lagers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm drinking this while I'm putting the list a little bit, finishing the list or whatever, and I'm drinking Object Permanence and I'm drinking Citra Brow. There you go. So,
there you go.
But yeah, absolutely, you're 100%. Yeah, Copper Legend's amazing. It's amazing, Martin. I get it every September, October. I get a couple of 4-packs of it, no matter what.
Great beer.
But number one though, and it's a newer beer that they put out. They only put it out. They started putting it out last year. Shocker, Human Robot, right? Grungeist.
I've not had that one.
You haven't had that one yet?
That's another favorite hop of mine of recent. Grungeist hops are amazing. I love Grungeist hops.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they use it. It's a German Pils, but they use all Grungeist hops. So there's no noble hops. There's no Hallertau or anything else. It's Grungeist, and it's so good. It's such a good beer, and I love that hop. The first time I had Grungeist is actually out at CBC a couple of years ago in Minneapolis at Dangerous Man. They did a grisette with Grungeist hops, and it was stupid good. So I fell in love with the hop that day, and as soon as Human Robot did that in the pills, I'm like, I'm Case, thank you. Right here.
I gotta get back to Philly.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I need a post sandwich.
I have. You can't see it because I can't turn my camera because it's on my laptop, but I actually have a tin tacker from Hophead Farms of Grungeist right here.
There you go.
Hanging right here on my wall. Right.
Nice.
Here it.
If we're still just talking, if we're
Hold
still
on,
talking
hold on.
big love for Human Robot, this Dopacena is
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
absolutely on
There's a tin tacker. There's a tin tacker. See it?
Oh, you can
Don't
see.
bet
I don't
cheating
know how to
now.
fucking
Come on,
say
say
this
it
word,
right.
dude. Are you kidding me? I don't
Very
get
nice.
this. I don't
Cappuccino.
have this. I grew
It's
up
funny.
in the woods.
I don't
man.
have it
know about
either.
that.
I didn't expect to be on a show with some guys from a brewery in Rhode Island and talk as much about human robot as we have.
I know, right? It's crazy, right?
Somebody pronounce that beer for me. I don't know.
Put it up again.
Topacina.
Dopacina.
Dopacana.
Dopacana.
Yeah.
Dopacana.
Topacina.
Dopacana.
This is
Wait, hold on. John Cena? Oh, I can't see.
John Cena.
John
Can you
Cena.
see this
Cena.
beer?
Yeah, you
Can you
can't
see
see
this
it.
beer?
Jose, can you see? No.
Jose, yeah.
This is different. If you're an Amaro person and you're a beer person, this is for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That'd be
And
John.
I am both of those things.
John's more Amaro than I am.
There you go. One of
Oh,
my favorite
come on.
Amaros right
Find
there.
the right one yet. Let's
One of my
go.
favorite
I want
Amaros
Is that
right
a
there.
bully boy?
Hey. It's Bully Boy. Bully Boy, that's the Rubarbara.
John knows that I've got a kind of thing against Amaro right now, only because we lost one of the greatest craft beer bars in all of the United States to an Amaro bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John was telling me about that in the tap room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds.
So
I was like, I can tell that you're very emotional about this thing, but I have never been there, and I don't know how to react to this right now.
I'm still angry.
I did find out that, Dave, I thought I told you this. I
You
did find
tell me
out
this.
in October. I was there in October, and I think I told you too, Dylan. I was there in October with a buddy of mine, and we went in, and because he loves Amaro too, or whatever. We went in for a couple of craft beers. We had some Amaro, and I was talking to the one bartender that was there that night, and I said how it's just kind of waxing nostalgic about the old place, and all the like amazing. The beer list was amazing. It was second to none. It was in literally anywhere else I've been, anywhere in the United States. The beer list, the tap list, the tap list. They only have 8 taps, and their tap list, but beyond their tap list, their bottle list.
The bottle list
was second to none anywhere, right? And she told me, she says, it depends on the night you're here, and it depends on who's bartending. But most of us, she said most. Now, she said not all, but most of us do know the bottle list actually still does exist. So all you have to do is ask them, and they pull out the secret
Very cool
bottle list and hand it to you. So you can still go like,
all right.
And when I was there that day, I actually got a 2008 J.W. Lee's.
you may be able to get me back there.
Right. So
Actually,
Is this a bar next in Brooklyn?
Yes.
for Brooklyn, yeah.
Is-
Spine Dival.
Is it next to a steakhouse?
It's Spine Dival, yeah.
Yes,
Spine
it
Dival.
is, and across the street from
I
the
know.
barbecue joint.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. The secret to Spite Dival has always been you need to know that the bottle list is clutch as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
100%.
I remember getting dragged there by friends. The first time I went there, it was not a great experience. And then I worked at Union Beer for a couple years, which was a big distributor that they do help
I know
Farmstead
Union.
in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Yeah. So a bunch of the bigwigs that I made friends with over there like dragged me there. It's like it's Spite and Dival. What am I gonna get from there? They're like, wait. When we get there, we're gonna drink some of the best beer you've ever had in your entire life. Every time I've been there, it's a secret list. You're never gonna know what's there. It's always good.
But let me ask you this though, Morgan. When was the last time you were at Spine Dival?
That would have been 2015.
2015. Okay, so this is kind of what Spine Dival looked like when you were there last, right?
100%. Yep.
Okay. Those of you listening on the audio podcast after the fact, it's 2 hours.
You're gonna
and
ruin
30
something
minutes
for me, aren't you?
Okay.
This is why I'm angry. This is why I'm
This
angry.
is what Spine Dival looks like now.
Yeah, I'm into it though.
But every single bottle you see there on the shelf, they're all Amaro. Every single one of them are Amaro. So, but
Yeah,
the
but I
bottle
also
list.
love Amaro. So.
Yeah, no, I love
Talking to
Amaro
a
too.
man that
I
just
love Amaro
opened
too.
a cocktail joint and absolutely is in
But that's
love
why
with that
I
picture.
said the 3 bartenders there. I said, why didn't he owns 6 businesses. Open a 7th. Open an Amaro bar somewhere else. Keep Spite and Dival alone. But apparently the bottle list is still there. It's still in existence. But there are going to be nights that you go in there where none of the bartenders even know about it. That's what's You have to get there on a right.
But that was always the case.
Mhm.
I feel like every time I went there, that was always the case. You
Well,
get the wrong bartender, they had
You
no
get
clue
you get the
with
wrong bartender. They have no clue. Yeah, that's true too. That is true. But at least the bottleless was in front of you. If you look at the picture, the bottleless was basically up there on the chalkboards. Now those chalkboards are gone, and it's all Amara bottles. But so now the bottleless is actually just a bottle list they hand you. So
yeah.
But you can still
Fair.
Yeah. So it kind of eased the aggravation of what we were going through for a little bit of time there, Dave and I anyway. And he's back from the bathroom. There you go. So
I mercifully.
Mercifully.
Mirthfully and mirthfully. Yes.
And mirthfully. There you go.
But I'm going to open a fourth, John.
I'm shocked you're opening a fourth. We're going so.
Well, the thing is,
so I got to side note this because sorry, not to interrupt, but Dylan and I talked about being.
What was that?
I don't know, not me.
It sounded like a wood chipper.
There it is.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope so.
All right.
So
you hope it was a wood chipper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that would at least make some sense out of something. I know, right?
Oh boy, what is this?
So this is the coolest thing, and I can't fucking find that.
It's the silliest thing we've ever done for sure.
You did a malt liquor.
You did a malt liquor.
Malt liquor.
There you
that
go.
we did with our friends at Branch and Blade and River 6 over the summer. We've got a little bit of it left.
What's it called?
God,
Hotel Stew.
it's called Hotel
Stew.
Yeah, Dylan can tell you the story
For a
on that
malt
one, 'cause
liquor. That's
this
not common.
this is like when
That's how I
when
knew
when
I
we
made
did
it.
this.
That's how I knew I made it in the craft beer game, baby. That's how I knew. Went to my first sleepaway beer festival. Made some friends. Drank some beer on the hotel stoop at 3 a.m. and we decided to come up with a collab project. And said, wouldn't it be silly if we made something like a malt liquor? And then most of us went back to the people that own the breweries. They were like, that sounds like an idea you came up with drunk at 3 a.m. at a festival. So
on a hotel
not
stoop.
gonna
Yeah,
do that.
exactly.
Some of those
And
ideas
then,
are the best ideas.
And then Morgan and the River Styx and Branch and Blade folks thought it sounded like a fun idea. So we made it just in time for the same festival next year and served it there. Brought a keg of orange juice, made brass monkeys for the people.
Oh, God.
Everyone had a great time. Could not have had a better time.
Brass monkey.
Let me clarify though.
Monkey.
Speaking of Brooklyn.
Branch and Blade people and the River 6 people did not sign up on this.
Oh, River Styx 100%
This is
did. I don't know
us,
about Branch
and we
Blade.
coerced them into it.
My boy Ryan, River Styx, rest in peace, no longer with us, but Ryan was absolutely a protagonist in the story of the Hotel Stew.
Nice.
No antagonist.
And now he's brewing. Now he's brewing a beer. Now he's brewing for Movements out in Movement Brewing out in Davis, and they are known for also a malt liquor. And
Really? Nice.
it's going all right. They're doing a great job out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So my fourth, and I told John I wasn't going to drink.
What do you drink? What is it?
Rhode Islands, but I decided to open this up anyway. This is one of your competitors, probably compatriots is better. Doing some long live.
Oh, there you go.
And it's Merry Dancers is their Czech Dark. Because as we mentioned,
Yeah, I recognize that label. I got
Where'd
to
you get-
throw some kind of shade at Armando. That
do it.
If only he made lagers as good as we did. All right.
There you go.
If only he made lagers as well as he makes milkshake IPAs.
He's never made a milkshake.
No, he does the sour IPAs, but his sour IPAs
Yeah.
tend to be a
No,
little.
he makes the sours.
Yeah, he does the sour IPAs, and some of them they kind of almost approached the milkshake in body.
Mhm.
What was
But
the one
no
I brought you,
lactose,
John?
which is
No lactose. He does it without the lactose.
no lactose. That's why we're friends. That's why we're friends.
There you go. Dave, how did you get that beer?
John Mule back the all four beers that I drank on the show tonight, actually.
There you go. There you go.
So John's like, I'm going to Treehouse. I said, how much beer are you willing to bring back for me? He's like, oh, have at it. About 3 trips back and forth to the brewery to his car. He's like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Right. So now you're talking about Hotel Stew. That was a collab that you did, right? Collab project. Okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of collabs,
Yep.
okay. While I was sitting at the bar with Jess talking to Dylan, okay. After I had given the 4-pack of Nautical Twilight, I had snapped a picture of this. Okay, so that's the Nautical Twilight sitting in a Buttonwoods box in the cooler with an Icarus beer.
Oh, we know those guys.
All right.
So,
all right.
Actually, I've talked to Jay a couple of times at Icarus since then. I'll be down at his newer space that he's opening up
In Bricktown, right?
in Bricktown, yeah, tomorrow. So he and I had said, and he told me because I said you guys were coming on. He had said he's completely open to the idea of a 3-way collab with the 3 of us.
Ooh.
Jay's always been into 3-ways.
Yeah. I was saying, I don't know how to unpack your personal life here on this. I'm into it.
How about a 3 brewery collab? How's that, Dave? Is that better?
Oh, that's a better way to phrase that. Like that better. Less room for interpretation.
Yeah, there you go. So we can work on something. But anyway, I just thought that was good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to bug Nick. Nick and I have been working on that one for a little bit.
You've been talking to Nick?
So you got to bug. Oh yeah, we call him Nicarus.
So Jay said that. He says, yeah, Nick's been talking to him. He says, I got to get up there. He goes, he's got to get up there. I got to get back. But his new space down in Brick is actually going to be opening. He's probably end of March, beginning of April.
Nice.
So, and we'll actually have our new space
cool.
opening. We'll talk more about that, but not too long after. But more on that. We'll make the announcement when it's actually
full circle. I went to grade school in Bricktown.
You did.
Sounds like we'll have plenty of time to do all of this around
will.
late March, early April.
Exactly. So we got time to work on it. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're going down to Icarus in March is the last I heard. So
that was from Nick. All right. So I talked to Jay about it was right after I got back, and I'm going to see him tomorrow. But whatever, you guys do whatever you're going to do. We can do a separate one.
Hey, I mean, we're doing.
If for nothing else, Matt and I will come over the day you're brewing the collab. How's that? We'll do that.
I was saying, you guys can please come. I don't want to spoil the soup. So
if you got a barrel, we can stick some of it in for later. Then that's also part of it.
There you go.
All good. Yeah.
At worst, you
say definitely come by. I have no idea how to handle this.
What did you say? You can watch.
I said, at the very worst, John, you can watch.
Yeah. Voyeuristic.
Dave, I'm not sure if you've ever been around a brewery collab, okay, when it actually gets brewed, but there's usually one guy brewing and 30 people watching.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay. No, I know how collabs go.
Or maybe 2 guys working. No, everybody does something, but
everybody takes the big selfie.
Right.
That's what.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
We take the picture together. So there you go.
There's a lot of supervisors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like a road crew, right? One guy doing the work and all the guys standing above the hole watching. So, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. All right. So obviously we gave the big news. Event wise, is there anything else coming up on the horizon? Other than obviously opening over on Sims, is there anything event-wise? Just outside events, anything in Rhode Island, anything outside Rhode Island that you're doing, or just that you're going to do whichever brewery, whichever space, event-wise?
So, the only really big one. Sorry, my bigger dog is going wild over there.
I thought he was going to ask Ollie what's going on.
Ollie's. Yeah, well, I got to ask him too. So our Ollie's big 15th birthday is on the 17th. So
February.
Yeah, I don't. Yes.
Yes.
So his birthday's technically on the 1st, but with the move, we kind of pushed it a little bit back because we ran out of time for different things.
Sure.
My big dog is just, I got 2 dogs and wow. All right. Sorry. The bigger dog is doing something weird.
It's all good.
She pulled something out from
someone's gotta go
she pulled
potty?
something out of the couch.
Oh,
No, she pulled something out from under the couch. I
wait a
was
second.
like,
Is
"What
it
are
one
you
of the
doing?"
couches? Is it one of the couches from the brewery?
No, no,
Oh, because it could be a body.
no.
A body part.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I got really worried about whatever she was pulling out.
There you
I'm still not sure what she found. But yeah, so Ollie's big 15th birthday is February 17th. We're doing a Thanksgiving thing this Sunday. Not Thanksgiving, Jesus Christ.
Thanksgiving.
Mannerism happens all.
What a weird thing to say.
Yeah, you know,
But you can
hold
make
on.
that. You can make that.
Well, hold on.
thing.
There is a time difference between Rhode Island and New Jersey. So
There
maybe
is,
it is November.
but you can make that.
Yeah,
a thing. Thanksgiving in February.
It's a leap
I like
year.
that.
Exactly. Well, yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. The leap
Every
year,
leap year is
carry
Thanksgiving.
the
in February.
one, and yeah, exactly.
My favorite thing is since the move, my brain is fragmented in the funnest ways, and so when I start talking about things, I all of a sudden start saying something that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying. So Valentine's Day, we're doing a Valentine's Day thing this weekend.
But when your brain starts
somehow-
doing that, you can come up with some great beer names. When you
Which
do
we
stuff like
also have a fantastic sour beer release for called
Oh, nice.
Love Note,
that.
where
Love Note.
we unabashedly ripped off the special edition Polar Seltzer pomegranate champagne flavor. And it
Nice.
is delicious and lovely and doesn't actually taste anything like, or no, it does. The Polar Seltzer flavor, please do not come at me right now, but it's very
not
delicious.
watching, Dan.
It's a
They're not
lovely, easy drinking pink drink. Everyone's gonna love it. It's been my favorite like cellar tasting, checking on everything of the day is when I get to the sour tank. So it's gonna be really nice.
Awesome.
I mean, it is your love child. So
I'm very proud of this one. Yeah.
That's great. And that's being released when?
That'll be packaged up. Actually, what's today? Tuesday. So Thursday.
So I gotta say, I did have Sense of Place while I was up there, and that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's an absolute staple. That's a very soft, sentimental part of the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean that's a succinct way to say it. That's man, that beer. If you haven't had it, it is a very cool thing because it's all Rhode Island peaches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fermented on second use peaches that then go into barrels, and then it's reconditioned on fresh peaches. So the cycle kind of redoes itself.
Right.
And the label itself is a watercolor painting by my mom.
Oh, that's
nice.
It's one of the
Nice.
yeah. So you brought up the Tiny Treasures label, so that's the second one she's ever done, and I try
really?
not to.
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
Yeah. So she hand painted that one. So I try to not put her under the gun for a bunch of different labels, and then she got really ecstatic about how much people love the Sense of Place one. So I was like, "Want to do another one?" She's like, "Yeah." Like my mom and I are very cut from very similar cloths, obviously, genetics and stuff, but also personally. So she's like, I want to do that. I want to, I don't know what to do with my hands, so I'm going to do stuff. So I've been trying to redirect her excitement energy, which I also have a lot of. And I'm like, here's a project. So Tiny Treasures, Sense of Place, and we have another one she's working on, and it's really cool to like have access to people who are as talented as my mom, like let alone like all the other people who are around me. My brother does stuff, and so yeah, it's really cool. She watercolor painted that whole label, so
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
That's you should start selling her artwork in the
really.
brewery.
Yeah, right.
Good.
Don't
We have
tell her. She'll do it.
I've been to quite a few breweries that sell artwork in the brewery. Carton Brewing, you were there. You see the artwork on the wall. That's all for sale. You know, he highlights local artists. So nothing wrong with highlighting your mom's artwork, because that label that John showed is beautiful.
It's fantastic, and I actually have. I grabbed these to show. I grabbed them out of the cellar, but I actually didn't. I forgot. I actually have a bottle of the Sense of Place. I should have grabbed that too to
show the artwork. Yeah,
show the artwork. Anyway,
I can send it to you later.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, all right. So, events. What were we talking about? We
did events.
We did events. Any new beers coming up on the short term or even later this year that you're planning on?
We'll talk about the Valentine's release.
Valentine's release, and of course, other than the Icarus collab,
coming soon at some point. Yeah.
Coming soon at some point.
Yeah.
With Coastal in attendance, drinking and watching.
It's going to be the next new release, and then after that, we have a double IPA. Not really new. I mean, new, hasn't been brewed in I don't even know how long. Television double IPA.
It's been about 2 years.
Strata.
Oh, I remember Television. I think I've had Television.
Yeah, we're bringing television back. Citrus Strata. We have a new batch of Kinetic, which is a pale ale that we're working on, trying to bring into kind of the core rotation there. That one's really nice. A little bit lighter, Citra, Mosaic, Simcoe, hitting a lot of the same notes of some of our favorite IPAs, but kind of toning the volume back a little bit, so it can be just kind of an all the time easy drinker like that. And then I guess the last big new release before we move is probably going to be the next batch of Big Echo, which is a West Coast style IPA that we tend to switch up batch to batch a little bit based on hop or grain profile or things like that. So this one's going to be kind of focused on Azaka and Talus hops with a little bit of help from Comet and Simcoe.
Nice.
And
I had the Big Echo while I was up there. Actually brought some back with Nelson. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah,
that one was really nice. We went for a little bit more of a modern approach with that, kind of looking at and tasting some of the West Coast IPAs we get from San Diego and that area now. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe we didn't get them. I don't know. Unless I taste a beer in the brewery, I'm always a little bit add 20% to whatever I'm tasting.
Right.
But we kind of went about it a little bit paler, a little bit less bitter, and just kind of turbocharging where the hops add flavor instead of really sticking to the classic of you need this many hops at 60 minutes. You need to use a little bit of crystal. You need to be, you're not we kind of threw a lot of that classic style out and really just went based on what we were tasting from what we were getting at that time.
Gotcha.
And I was really pleased with how that beer came out.
Yeah. That's I'm looking forward. I'll get up there. I got to definitely try that one. The new one. The Nelson was fantastic. And I love Nelson, but as much as I love Nelson, ask Samurai right there. Let's put it this way. Ask Samurai what his daughter's middle name is.
Oh, you're the Nelson daughter, huh?
No, her name is Sylvine.
Sylvine, yeah.
Oh, Sylvine.
Sylvine,
yeah.
So
It's French. It's pretty. It's good.
It worked.
I love it. So the Big Echo, to an extent, is also an homage to all of the old school West Coast IPAs I cut my teeth on. Mm-hmm. So we don't always follow that, but the Nelson one specifically, when we were concocting it, I kind of alluded back to Alpine's Double Nelson.
Nice. Yeah.
That's, so there's
that was a good beer. That was
certain
good.
ones that we kind of I love that brewery. I love that beer. And that was where that thought process kind of aligned with and where we kind of took it in a little bit of a different direction. But it's a lot of times when we have these conversations, I'm like, man, I really miss the the first time we did it, it started with a conversation of like, I don't have as much access to Bell's Two Hearted as I would like to.
Right.
So I tried to kind of make a Bell's Two Hearted homage. And then that's how Big Echo became the Big Echo that it is. It's always like, to me, when I am involved in the recipe, I'm like, let's make it something that I'm reminiscent on with old school recipes. And Dylan has like a fresher vision on it of like, well, what if we did this? Like, I want a West Coast, but I want it to taste like this. So when I'm involved, I'm like, yeah, I want that old school thing. That's what I want. And Dylan's like, well, what if we did this? Let's make a really dope ass shit like West Coast IPA.
That's awesome.
And I always love the bravery of a New England brewery doing a West Coast IPA, because you're not going to, where you are, you're not going to see a high untapped rating, because everyone in that area, they want the New England IPAs. So I always love it when a New England brewery does a West Coast IPA and does it well, and so many can.
Yeah, it's not. You know what? It's not just even New England breweries. If I see a West Coast IPA
on the East Coast, anywhere.
Well, yeah, East Coast, obviously, and West Coast, but just getting the love, getting at like 3.8s, 3.9s, 4.1 on Untapped. Like, this thing has to be fantastic, because the people that are, the bulk of the people that are rating it are juice heads.
That's
so
fair.
It's one of my favorite parts of brewing IPAs and being a brewer in New England, and especially when the conversation about IPA is a lot of times like not cool anymore, because we all want to be loggerheads and we all want to be whatever. Is like, I personally want to embrace the fact that we have a regional style for what it is and champion that as much as like hazy IPA or New England IPA or whatever you want to call it. Some people differentiate hazy from New England. Some people don't. Like, I don't really care. All I know is that if you're a like beer tourist or an avid beer drinker, especially if you're not from New England, you come to New England, you are expecting to go somewhere that has a stellar New England style hazy juicy IPA.
Sure.
That is like a regional style that people travel for.
Sure.
And I don't really care if it's not cool as a brewer to be like, I want to champion that. But I do definitely want to be like, this is where I live. This is the type of beer that we make here. It'd be like going to Czech and being like, do you have a Pilsner? Like, yeah, I want coming to, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, and being like, I'm in New England, so this is the type of beer that we have there. I think that's really cool to have.
That's
and then on top of that, to do West Coast style through that lens, it's like you kind of have to have an understanding that what you're doing is Tex-Mex at the end of the day. Like,
that's
like,
wow.
I don't live in
well
San
put.
Diego.
I mean, really,
I
yeah.
didn't grow up there. I didn't learn to brew from, like a West Coast brewer. I don't have that water. I don't have those things, but I can try to give you those flavors through the lens of where I've been and where I'm at and what I have to work with. And I think that there's something like, no one gets mad at a Tex-Mex joint for not being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it still tastes good and it does a thing that you want it to, while also understanding that, like, I'm not in that place. You can't, I'll be the first one to always be like, you can't just recreate that anywhere you want to go. Like,
right.
It's just going to be a product of where it is. But I do think that there's something beautiful and innovative and delicious about someone who is inspired by a thing, recreating it in a place that just incorporates its own uniqueness onto it.
That is one of the most amazing ways I've ever heard that put. That's
Very well.
perfect. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I just kind of went train of thought for a second because I had to
No.
think about it, but
train of thought is
and so I'm piggyback on that for like a little bit. And so when we first opened up, we never called anything a New England IPA because we're in New England, and the expectation was that everything was going to be hazy, and thankfully everything was. But it was just like, you have the expectation of the terroir and the experience that you're going into. It's like, yeah, this is what the expectations are, and you have to meet that minimum in order to be a part of that area. And then, we hope to at least achieve that in everything we do.
That's great. And
absolutely.
And totally true.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I find it fascinating to look at it to hear it now from the brewer's perspective, because I was approaching this from the drinkers, raiders perspective, where when you're in New England, you're expecting the hazy, you're expecting the New England IPA. So to see any kind of West Coast IPA, tends to be a bit of a rarity. They're never as rated as highly as New England IPAs, because that's what people are expecting. To your point, this is where you're from. This is what they're wanting. But I never really took into consideration that your Tex-Mex analogy, whereas you're not this beer that you're brewing is not from where you are, so it almost gives validation to the lower ratings of the West Coast IPAs, which to me, to begin with, I was like, it's bullshit. I thought it was bullshit. An East Coast brewery should be able to brew a West Coast IPA because they still have access to the ingredients. There is the water. Yes, the water makes a big difference. Let's face it, the biggest component of any beer is the water, which is why I've never understood breweries that don't treat water.
Right.
We won't get into that. So no, that's, I'm not going to name names. So having that perspective, gives me a whole different way of thinking about it, and that's amazing. I hadn't thought about it that way, but that explains a lot of what I've seen from my times in Rhode Island. When I was there, some of the breweries. That's one of my favorite beers that Smug brewed was a West Coast IPA. It was so lowly rated, and I thought it was a really, really good representation of the West Coast in New England. So the fact that you guys got one coming out, I would definitely want to give that a shot. So I don't know if it'll still be available in October when I'm planning to come up, but we'll see.
We rotation that out. So we'll have something in the West Coast realm for sure.
Nice.
We try to keep that on tap. But so it's funny you say like Smug does that, because Rob DeRosa has been Rob's been brewing for 12 years.
Where was he before he took over Bucket?
He was at Union. He was at Union Station. He was the head.
Oh, was he at Union Station? I never knew that. Okay.
So they Union Station has gone through a metamorphosis since then. But he was just kind of brewing beers. That brew pub's been around since, I want to say 92 or 94.
Oh, I was going to say
one of the oldest
since Jesus Christ, but okay, yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, you're not close. You're not far off from that. Jesus came around, and Jesus transcended in 1992, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been around for. He wasn't the original head brewer there, but he's been there since early 2000s. So he's kind of learned from a bunch of guys who was trying to make new West Coast IPAs back then. So it makes sense. Short story line.
There you go. There you go. Cool. All right. So anything else you want to put out there? Any other info you want to give out to anybody? What's coming up? Obviously, other than the
or vibes into the universe,
or vibes into the universe, whatever you want to do, or anything like that. or just the beers we've talked about, events coming up. Obviously, the new space up on Sims, over by Atwell's.
For your opening, are you going to get Big Nazo to show up to celebrate the opening?
Ooh, big nods.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a tough question. I haven't
Here we're
entertained
getting
that
Big Bird.
one. We were looking. No, we were going with Elmo.
Elmo.
That's because as we know, Elmo's a big drunk.
Elmo's a drunk. Elmo is.
He is a drunk. He did piss off. Oh my God, Curb Your Enthusiasm guy. Shit.
His
that
Larry
joke
David.
didn't land.
Yeah, his last show.
That was almost a good joke, but
I know. As soon as I started saying it, was like, I don't remember who he did that to. Larry David fought Elmo. That's the joke.
There you go.
And his last show is this week, isn't it? The last Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's coming up soon. Yeah, it's either this week or soon. It's this month. It's this month. So yeah, he's done this. This season's the last one at Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I bet it'll be pretty good.
Probably
word on the street is
Elmo will be on it.
Elmo will be on it. No, word on the street is, and I've heard this a couple of places, that once he's done with Curb Your Enthusiasm, they're going to go back. Him and Jerry are going to go back and resolve what happened in the last episode of Seinfeld.
Why?
I have no idea. I just heard that that's happening.
Weird.
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
I guess too many people.
I can't.
I guess too many people for the last. I guess too many people for the last 27 years have said, "Why?" So, but there you go. So,
okay.
What do you mean? Why? It was pretty cut and dry. Go to prison.
I thought it was cut and dry too, but
they went to jail. Whatever.
So apparently,
they're telling on knowing
what I'm.
They're going to resolve that. So yeah, whatever. So anyway, all right.
I fucking love it.
There you go. I do too. Before we go, predictions on the Super Bowl. Sorry, Morgan.
Oh, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs guy, so yeah, you got the wrong guy on that one.
Do I? I mean, you
got the right guy because we're gonna win, but my bias is already just oozing out the screen.
It's all good.
That's fine.
Dylan?
I'm gonna take the 49ers.
49ers.
I'm gonna go
going full Brock Purdy on this, or Christian McCaffrey's gonna have the game.
I think it's gonna be more of a Christian McCaffrey game. I think Brock's gonna throw his fair share of clutch spots as he tends to do. We'll go
Debo or Kittle will have a better game.
Who?
Debo or Kittle will have a better game. Catching from McCaffrey.
It's going to be
Purdy.
If the 49ers win, it's because of Kittle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
That's going to be the matchup difference that just if it's going to happen, that's where it's going to happen.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that you look like you could be George Kittle's cousin?
I wish I was really George Kittle. This man is a fucking legend. He brings the vibes every day. And I'm about that.
That's a great name. That'd be a great name for a beer. Kittle's cousin.
Kittle's cousin.
Kittle's cousin. I like that. Well, that'll be like a West Coast double.
Exactly.
just really, really throw it. Like
No. It's got to be a West Coast doppelbach because you're a doppelganger.
There you go.
Ooh, doppelbach. Let's go.
A West Coast doppelbach.
A West Coast
American hop doppelbach. I'm with it.
There
that.
You go.
That sounds all right.
There you go.
It's a Skittlebach.
Skittlebach.
No. Please don't.
God.
Don't
after the
Bolero.
pastry style, I cannot have any other candy in beer like that. That was outrageous.
We didn't do candy, but we get one per year for sure.
We get one per year.
Morgan just came up with a Buttonwoods Bolero collab.
Yeah, there you go. Skittlebach. George Skittlebach.
No, the George Skittlebach.
They heard us.
George S. George S. Skittlebach.
Doing nothing more awful.
There you go. Samurai.
Well, I don't know because you've got the whole, MAGA conspiracy theory that
Don't go there.
So I really think that I'm going to take Taylor Swift in 10.
Taylor Swift in 10.
Taylor Swift and giving 10 points. Giving 10 points.
Giving
10 points.
Giving 10 points.
Yeah, Taylor Swift giving 10 points.
Wow. All right.
I didn't even know she was
Taylor
in the
Swift
thing,
up
but-
10.
I think
Plus
it's going to
10.
be. I think it's going to be a close game. I think either team could win. I know this is like a cop out, but not really. This is what I think. I think it's going to be a close game. I think either team could win. It's going to come down to last possession, clearly, but I think the Chiefs edge it out. I think the Chiefs win. I do. I wouldn't.
Well, it all comes down to whether the 49ers defense holds up the way that it should.
That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
The 49ers,
Real
look, if the
game
49ers
time.
play the way they played against the Lions and the way they played against the Packers, I don't think it's going to hold up as well as it did on those two games, because I think it was like, I think with the Chiefs, it'll be too little too late. To play the same way, which is why I'm kind of leaning the way I'm leaning. I wouldn't mind just in general seeing Brock Purdy actually winning a Super Bowl.
You know why? Because he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Right. Exactly. Go
Exactly.
Mr.
I love
Irrelevant,
that
like,
story.
he is winning the Super Bowl.
It's the natural thing from going like from Brady, then back again, because Brady was after Montana, and then now it's like, okay, now we're gonna do the low draft pick guy after Brady, back on the 49ers
And
doing a thing.
And I agree with that, other than the fact that I think the NFL world and the NFL universe wants Patrick Mahomes to be the next Brady. not
Yes,
Brock
it's
Purdy.
absolutely a rigged thing. All
They're
right, I'm
already
gonna go
doing
on
it.
Conspiracy theory Dylan corner time. The NFL is definitely not rigged. Is a strong word. Rigged is a strong word. The NFL is
Scripted?
suggestible.
We don't use the word rigged.
Right.
It's a suggestible league
Right.
because they are under an entertainment license, not
Right.
a sports game. Like they can do whatever the hell they want to do.
Right.
There is no legal repercussion, whatever. I don't trust. Was not worried about it until they started putting out their commercials about how it wasn't written. And then I was like, why are you guys making this commercial?
Right.
Now I'm suspicious.
Right. Exactly.
So you're
You left it
basically
alone.
saying it is a team professional wrestling with gear.
But
I didn't say
so I'm
that.
gonna
You said that.
I'm gonna challenge that opinion, because at the beginning of the playoffs there was a leaked photo of the Ravens versus the 49ers. That was going to be the Super Bowl, and that never happened.
That's because
So-
Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce. So
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, no. This was like 3 weeks ago.
All right.
Trust me, my girlfriend can confirm they've been dating for a lot longer than that. I don't know how long.
No.
But you know what?
The
What's
beginning
interesting-
of the season, they started after that. But what I think,
Sure.
if there's any leaning, if there's any like massaging, if there's anything interesting going on, right? We'll call it that. We'll use the word interesting. If there's anything interesting going on, I think that because there was so much talk about the Ravens 49ers, because the Taylor Swift was involved and that whole hype and all that was involved, the NFL decided, you know what? Let's cover our asses and we can boost ratings up at the same time. So we kind of disparaged the rumor that we're making it the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. Well, that's gone, but the Chiefs are in it, and we can boost the ratings with all the extra fans that are watching that.
John will tell you.
Yeah. No, I get it.
During it, I said, if it is rigged, if it is scripted, then Lamar Jackson was brought into it because his performance in that game was, by Lamar Jackson's, I just lost a word there, but from what you're used to him, was atrocious.
It was horrible. Yeah.
That was the worst
Well,
performance I've ever seen him.
That's where my opinion on it comes in is like, I think it's more of a suggestible thing where like there's it's like almost reality TV like where like there's things that you want to have happen and you can subtly ask for, but it's not always going to come out that way. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it does because it's
Right.
still going to be entertaining and make a lot of money. So
Sure.
who cares?
Yeah.
But you can suggest things in certain ways for sure.
Sure. Well, the thing I have
I
to say
can
is that-
suggest you guys make a West Coast Doppelbach.
There you go.
saying it's
I'm
gonna
kind
happen.
of here for
A
it,
West Coast,
honestly.
a West Coast Skittlebach, yeah. I was just going to say really quick, the only thing I can say is that if there is any rigging, if there is any, not rigging or leaning or massaging or whatever you want to call it, the directing, all right, at least it explains, A, the Falcons losing a 28-3 halftime lead. Okay. And it also explains Pete Carroll not handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
Also true.
No,
Also true.
no. There's enough other things that will explain Pete Carroll.
Oh, there's more.
Not
No,
handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch is one of the most unexplainable questions in sports history. I will never even as someone that watched that as a Patriots fan, I just didn't even understand how it wasn't Marshawn Lynch with the ball at that moment in time. It made no sense.
A high school coach would
give it to Marshawn Lynch,
to any running back, let alone Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode,
right?
Absolute beast mode. He was
the 1 yard line.
Instead of throwing a slant that you've already run the same play 3 times over the course of the game,
right?
Yeah,
makes all the
and not done well with. Yeah.
So at least it explains the rigging, all that.
Well,
at least it explains all of that. So.
And I'm not even an emotional football fan. I care about fucking hockey. So you better believe how I feel about like the Blackhawks winning in 2013 and the Blues winning in 2019. I got some opinions on that shit.
How would you feel? How would you feel about the Rangers winning this year?
Oh, God.
How would I feel about the Rangers?
Look,
who do they beat?
They beat the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Okay. Because here's the thing. Because I'm a Rangers fan, I'm an Original Six fan.
Sure.
If the Rangers aren't in it, I root for every Original Six team until there's none left.
That's a good rule. I like that.
There you go.
Way to go.
There you go. So, and then there's the Capitals. But we'll talk to Morgan another day on that.
Hey, I grew up with the Portland Pirates, which is the Capitals AHL team. So I'm like low key Caps fan. Low key. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
I'll fight like Ovechkin. It's fine.
There you go.
Ovi was one of my favorite players.
Russian machine doesn't
Ovi
break.
He's still there, dog. He's written for it.
He's not the Ovi.
No, I just said Ovi.
He's a little hurt. He's not
the Ovi he used to be.
No, come on.
Yeah, because he's getting old.
Like
yeah, he's old.
Yeah.
He's going to come back.
Old, but man,
he's gonna
Russian
like
machine does not break.
And Yager's coming back.
Break.
We need everybody pulling for him to get the Gretzky goal.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Well, this was an awesome show.
Yep. A lot of
like
fun.
100% from top to bottom, everything about it. So I want to thank both of you for coming on. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk a couple minutes before we completely sign off. We got to tell you a couple things. But on that note, though, we will wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, CastBox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find audio podcasts, you'll find the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Guys, Morgan, Dylan, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was amazing. We had an awesome time.
Morgan, did you pour the Schwartz? Is that what you're drinking?
Yeah, the Schwartz. Well, it is. All I have to say is, may the Schwartz be with you. The Schwartz is with you. There you go.
Yes. Prost.
Prost on that.
And Dylan cracked into another one there.
Did you?
I got an Italian now. I was on the hotel stoop before.
There you go. Anyway, Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks.
Drink lots of Buttonwoods beer.
We'll talk. Exactly.
It's good for you.
Absolutely.
It's healthy.
It is. Beer and
I heard.
Got what plants crave.
Stays off Alzheimer's. That's a scientific fact.
Old timers.
All time.
Wolfheimers?
Old timers.
Old timers.
Old timers.
No. It kind of attracts old timers.
Anyway, we'll talk to you next week, folks. Enjoy. Take care. Cheers.